Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. This will be the last non-after party weekend I'll have. I've had a few weeks where I wasn't available on the weekend. That will change starting next week. Saturday streams will return. But I'm glad I waited on this one because we had D23. And so all of that news came out. We had some other stuff that came out today. So we're going to talk about as much of that as we possibly can in the stream. So I have a couple of people joining me today. I meant to leave you up on the screen, but I thought you might start singing over the song.
I'm not going to lie. I had UGLY loaded up.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
I legitimately did. If I opened my phone, it'd probably just start playing.
Oh my God.
By the way, what a song. Anyway.
Yeah. So Paigey is here. We also have in the house 3Dub is here. Is that a new place, 3Dub? Is that a new location?
No, I just put stuff up on the wall.
Okay, I was gonna say it looked a little different behind you. And he is here at the beginning of the stream this time. We have Darren who's joining us.
How's it going?
So pretty good. I'm really excited because there's a combination of really cool news that came out and some stuff that I think people are going to be kind of iffy about. But I wanted to get everybody together to sort of talk about it and get some feedback. I was going to do individual stuff with this, but you know, the issue is there was a lot of leaked trailers this weekend as well as official trailers. Yep. And so we're going to talk about what we saw in the leaked trailers, but I can't show them here because literally YouTube will just block the stream.
Yeah.
So
I saw nothing.
Yeah, I saw all of them. The funny thing is, and before you got here, Darren, I was telling everybody this, I saw the leaked trailers and didn't see any of the official trailers. So all these official trailers I have not seen all the way through. So it's kind of funny. We have some team members in the house. Blackwing Gaming is here. Good to see you. South Texas Shark, Vanessa Fontaine, the Maestro. Yeah, so good to see everybody. We also have Victor in the house. Victor Chinchilla. Chuck, Mr. Face is here. Abdi is here. Ghost Shot. Yeah, good to see everybody. Thank you for being here. I know it's a weird time, but I'm actually going to be like, I just noticed what Paigey has as his avatar right now. Hey, Lone Wolf, how are you doing? Good to see you. So I'm working on
I thought we agreed where you were going to put the drag ladybug or some shit, whatever it is from Bugs Life.
The drag ladybug?
Oh, it's like a male ladybug or something.
Oh, shit. Yeah. No.
Whatever it is. It has like a beard or something.
Hey, Cody, how are you doing? But we got a bunch of topics. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I was like, oh man. I don't know.
By the way, quickly before I forget, Nerds Gummy Clusters thoughts.
What?
Have you had Nerds Gummy Clusters?
No. Anybody?
You're American.
I have, yeah. They're good.
No, because they're slowly making their way to Australia.
I've never had Nerds Gummies Cluster.
They're like nerds. They're crack. They're really addictive. It's like fucked.
I mean, but I don't like regular Nerds, so I think it's a vast improvement.
I don't like. I'm not the biggest fan of Nerds. Like, once like a turn 8, I sort of got over them. Mm-hmm. But then I have these gummy clusters. I'm like, what's in this gummy? It's like off its head.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised you're eating like trashy American food, because typically American stuff is not.
No, the only reason is because I saw this lady, like American lady on TikTok like 2 months ago. She had the blue ones though. They only have the pink ones. Mm-hmm. I think apparently the blue ones meant to be better or something. I don't know. But they only have the pink ones here at the moment. And she was talking about how good they were. And I'm like, look, they looked pretty good. They looked really good. So I got them and I was like, yeah, they're cooked. How good they are. Anyway. The only good thing is that at the moment they're expensive. It's like $6 Australian for a bag because they're imported. They're not developed or like made in Australia at the moment. So that's like the silver lining, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had them. I'll have to try them now, most likely. I see that Lance lost his voice, so I guess that's why he's not going to be here. But, before we get into all the D23 news, we have to talk about a couple of things. One of them, and I actually have it here on the screen, is I'm just going to show it and let everybody sort of react to it. This film here called Borderlands. Now, you know me, I don't judge the quality of a movie based on how much money the movie makes. I never have. But it's really interesting to see just how little this pulled in, considering how popular a game Borderlands is.
Yeah.
And based on the unreliable site Rotten Tomatoes, it looks like the movie is not doing well with fans or critics. So what is going on with this? I want to hear everybody's individual thoughts on this, just in general. Did you play the game? Are you still going to see the movie? Like, how do you feel about this? Just chime in, anyone.
I wasn't interested in it
At all. Like, you didn't think the trailers were good? Okay.
Well, I played the games. Like, I played 1 and 2. I think they brought out 3. I didn't play 3. I don't think if they brought it out. But I love Borderlands, especially the first Borderlands. But I was concerned when I saw the trailer, because I don't think the trailer necessarily looked like bad. It just looked a bit off, like something just didn't feel right. And then I was actually going to go see it. Like, I hadn't booked it, but I was like, okay, I'll go see it. Maybe not on like opening day, but maybe on like a Tuesday or something following it. But then I saw the reviews come out. I'm like, I know it's probably like, I wasn't expecting it to be like amazing, but to see like it was 0% after like 12 reviews or something like that, I was like, okay. And
I think it's funny. I mean,
one of the big things is that they said it was just boring. Like, that was
that's the thing is,
and Borderlands shouldn't be boring. Like,
right.
Borderlands is
it should be Borderland. It should be Borderland exciting. That's
yeah.
Well, it should just be, the big thing is that Borderlands is like about the guns and everything and how crazy the guns are. And apparently they don't do anything with that. They just try to make the characters, and like, sure, the characters are somewhat interesting and stuff, but like, they're not, like, to ignore one of the big parts of the game, which is all the crazy weaponry and stuff like that, which apparently they just ignore for the most part. That's crazy that they did that. I don't know how they. I don't know. Eli Roth. I mean, he's only like half decent movies are the fucked up ones.
I was gonna say, like, that's one of the big things. Also, is that apparently he couldn't be bothered to even work on reshoots. Like, when they needed to do reshoots, they had someone else come in and do them. And the movie, I don't know if this is true or not, but the stunt people said the movie was originally going to be rated R, and they had to pare it back to PG-13.
Well, yeah, for Borderlands, you'd expect it to. As I said, like, with like all the weaponry and everything like that. But it's, yeah, have we been gaslit into believing that we're in a renaissance of video game like live action stuff? Because no, do you want the easy fucking explanation?
Okay,
okay. On what medium or in which medium are the good video game adaptations?
TV shows.
Yeah. How long does a movie go for? About 2 hours. Let's say well, this one goes for an hour and 42. I'm assuming that's probably with credits.
Right.
What video game is an hour and 42 minutes?
Yeah,
probably a shit one. One. That's probably what it is. One that's like from the dollar store.
You would literally have to like do a 3 movie deal just to get the story of one game done. I think because it's especially Borderlands.
Well, yeah. Well, the one criticism I saw people saying was that like it doesn't follow the game. Like, well, I prefer it didn't, because I like The Last of Us as a product and stuff, but it's fairly boring because you know what's going to happen if you played the games. That's the only big issue. It's like, well, I know what's going to happen here. It's like why I don't really want them when they do like a Superman movie or a Batman movie or a Flash movie that you straight up just adapt a comic, because guess what? I know the story. I could just reread the comic I've already read. Do something original. That's what I prefer.
That's why I don't understand when people complain about like changing the source material. Like, you have to, or otherwise you're just
and that's why I love Fallout. Fallout was so good because it was in the world. It followed all the mechanics of the game in that world and respected it, but it created its own story, which is connects with it. That's why Fallout was so good, and that's what I want video game adaptations, even if they do it with a movie, but just try and make it like work as a movie. Like Borderlands, I think went down the right path where it's its own story. Apparently, I haven't seen it, but based off what people are saying, that it's not adapting one of the games. But they just didn't do anything great with it. They didn't embrace what made the games good in the movie.
They also say, like, I'm a firm believer that age shouldn't play the biggest part in like who you're casting for a role. I think you should really cast to who you think can do the best job. But this cast was also significantly older than the characters they were playing in the game. And I think that a lot of fans immediately tuned out because you've got like these great actors paired with these comedians playing a game where they just didn't feel like the right people for the roles. But Eli Roth was trying to turn this into what looked like a ripoff of Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it looked like to me. And some other people were mentioning things. What other movies were mentioned? Like
Suicide Squad and
obviously,
genre.
yeah, that one, yeah, like the
Dungeons and Dragons a little bit.
That one, that's it, that's the one. The last Dungeons, which by the way, that Dungeons and Dragons movie is really good.
So good.
The one, like I'm sad that it didn't do well financially because I would love to see a sequel to that. But yeah, they were trying to capture the magic of like this like unusual grouping of people that come together to sort of do something, and some people are good at it. James Gunn is really good at it. The Russo brothers are really good at it. There's some directors that are really good at doing those kinds of things. Clearly, if this is any indication, Eli Roth is not the person.
Well, it's a big thing because this type of movie relies on character writing, not the whatever the plot's going to be. Yeah. So if James Gunn already said his plot stuff isn't necessarily amazing, like it's pretty basic, but he's really good at the character stuff and relationships and making you care for a character, even only after knowing them for 5 to 10 minutes or something like that. That's where his strength is, which is the only concern I have for Superman as a movie, because if the plot's shit or the plot's weak, then it's like it's like the low-hanging fruit. But that's what Borderlands should be. Like the focus should have been on the character stuff, because people just want the zany sort
I'll
of
let you know, because I'm going to see a double
stuff.
feature this weekend. I'm seeing Alien, Romulus, and Borderlands this weekend. So I will let you know what I think of it.
Have the reviews come out for Alien Romulus? I saw the premiere was on, but
I hear it's really good.
I'm so excited for that movie. I cannot begin to tell you. Like I went back this week and watched all of the just Alien films, like not the Alien versus Predator stuff, but just the Alien films and the prequel stuff. And I'm so ready for Alien Romulus. It looks like it is taking all of the best elements of the Alien films and kind of putting them into like a newer film. So I'm just really looking forward to that. But when it comes to Borderlands, we talk about like financial flopping. This is ridiculous. Like 9 million worldwide.
I mean,
a movie
to
that
be
had
fair,
$100 million budget.
Everyone's having a go at Harold and the old purple crayon, but this is flopping at a worse ratio.
That's low hanging fruit, though. That one's a low hanging fruit. I feel like that one was kind of a given, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Let's talk about another as we move into the Disney stuff. Let's talk about another property that is seemingly unstoppable right now, as we kind of predicted, and that is Deadpool and Wolverine, which has made its $1 billion mark officially. And they say it's tracking for another 200 million this weekend, because obviously Borderlands isn't going to take any business away from Deadpool and Wolverine. And most people, they say, have gone back and seen it twice already. They're seeing a lot of repeat viewings on this one. And we think it's going to be, or most analysts now are saying it's going to be just shy of 1.5. Do you think that's a safe number before it leaves theaters? Is like a 1.4, 1.3, 1.4? What do you think?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's going to do more? Do you think it'll do more?
It depends on the international thing. That's like the big thing, because international theaters can sometimes just like
surprise us with another $1 billion.
They can just sort of like waken off to an extent. But they're also a bit weird with like updating international numbers as well. You know, I said I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 1.5. I was pretty damn confident it hit $1 billion, but I don't know if it hit 1.5. But then again, you don't know the longevity of something. There's not much coming out that fills this void for a while, like a while. Like the next like big movie that would be a lot of advertising in it is, I know you could say Alien, but Alien's probably more like a
I don't think the Alien audience is competing with this.
It's like Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is the only one I can think of. Yeah. And that's what, early, like a month away, like pretty much exactly a month.
I think once we get to like November, it's going to be very interesting, because I think Moana kind of has that built-in audience already with like the younger families and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe Mufasa, but I don't think it's going to do as well as the first one.
We're going to look at those trailers tonight. By the way, this is going to be Trailer Palooza stream. So if you're watching this on playback, before we even get into this, because we're about to move into this stuff, I'm going to try and talk about everything that I have in my notes from this weekend that I found interesting. If anybody else on the panel or in the chat, if you guys have suggestions, you can super chat it. We'll look at the trailers and we'll talk about it. But we've got a lot to pack into the stream. So we're going to be watching trailers. Now, I want to remind everyone, if you're watching this on playback, it's very possible that the trailers will get removed because YouTube will block the video. And then I have to go in and say, take the trailer out. So that is a possibility. And I tried to upload them unedited for members only, but then they still get blocked. So you can't watch it anyway. So the trailer is going to get removed most likely for at least a handful of these. We will discuss the trailers after we watch them, though. What were we going to say, 3Dub?
Unless it's Patreon.
Right. Which, by the way, I am looking into Patreon for some other stuff, combining with my channels here, because I have, now that I have 2 channels, I'm trying to find a way that makes it easy for everybody to get the content. So I'm thinking about doing something with Patreon, but that's like, that'll be the end of the year. It's not something I'm doing right this second. Anyway, so we are going to watch trailers, so be prepared for that. I am not going to show any leaked trailer footage because that is guaranteed to get the channel in trouble and possibly get the stream taken down. So
I was on a live show. It wasn't my channel, but a fellow channel that we watched the Daredevil trailer live, and as soon as that stream ended, it was like, oh, blocked.
Yeah, that would
they had to cut it out. I was like, well, that makes sense.
I will try and find some images because I think I can share images. I just can't share
images. Yeah,
so I will try.
It's
to
usually
find some
sound and stuff that catches you out.
Yeah. All right. So let's start out. Let's start out with the Star Wars news. We'll go with that first. And let me share over here on my other screen the where's it at?
What'd you have for dinner,
Eric? Pizza.
Fuck, you always have pizza. What's going on?
It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, you don't have it every meal.
I can. I'm an adult and I can do what I want.
Yeah, but your guts will be like, oh, all this cheese, man. What type of, okay, well, actually, what type of pizza? Let's actually clarify that.
Deep dish.
It was deep dish, actually. This is going to be the setup for the Spash or Pass show, like the these what I'm having. So yeah, what did you say? The what? Don't repeat that. Forget I even have that. All right. So this is the Skeleton Crew trailer. Now, before we watch this, I do want to talk about sort of the controversy around this. And
it's controversial.
It is a little bit,
obviously.
Okay, so this takes place. Yeah, I know. This takes place in the New Republic era, which is after Return of the Jedi. Also, it is intended to be a family show as a section of the Star Wars world. We've had the more mature stuff. This is definitely geared towards families. They say that they wanted it to feel like Steven Spielberg, so it's got that very 80s vibe to it. So they're going for something that feels familiar to the demographic that grew up watching Back to the Future and Goonies and stuff like that. So it's kind of the vibe they're going for with this.
I rewatched Goonies 2 weeks ago. I just saw it there on, where was it? It was on something. I thought, I'll watch Goonies again. I haven't seen it for a while.
Yeah.
Good movie.
So I love Goonies. There's a lot of people that are saying that this looks like garbage because it doesn't fit in the world of Star Wars, and that Star Wars is dead again. I mean, how many times can it die? He's coming back to life. I'm not
it's alive. It's dead. It's alive again.
But, so we're gonna watch this one. This is one that I have not seen any. I've only seen the pictures of it, the screenshots of it. So I've not seen anything on this trailer. But I will say this: I am pretty much on board with just about anything. I will give it a shot. But if I feel like I don't like the first season of something, I probably won't watch it again. What?
Were you watching Goonies or Gooning? Okay, the alternate, I think, wants you to clarify.
Okay, we're gonna watch this trailer about a family show. Anyway, here we go. Skeleton Crew trailer.
Tomorrow's test will set the course of your entire future.
Oh, John Watts. Okay.
Don't you ever want to do anything?
What were you saying?
Who's Christopher Ford?
I don't know that person, but I know John.
Harrison Ford related or something?
I don't know.
I thought he might know. They might have the research.
Does anybody know at all? No.
Well, they put his name there as if it was important. So That's why I'm wondering if anyone knew.
I don't know. Already though, I'm looking at this. This is very like
He's a screenwriter.
oh, thank you for looking that up for us because we were too lazy to do it. We're all sitting in front of computers and we're like, we're not going to bother.
He screen wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, so that might be why John they put him and John Watts together. Okay.
So look, already though, how do we feel about Homecoming in general before we finish with this?
I love
trailer?
Homecoming.
I love
everybody.
Homecoming.
Everybody likes it.
It's better than the second one, which was
Yeah.
not that
Right.
great.
It's better
Right,
than
okay.
Spider-Man 3.
So, that to me already says that this is probably going to be a pretty decent series because I like that style of storytelling. So, yeah, I'm good with that. So let's continue.
Ever want to do anything exciting? Like what?
Oh shit!
What if we could go?
What? What was that?
Fucking elephant face.
Yeah. Why are you picking on the way someone looks? They can't help that.
Eric, it's a fictional, literally.
I
like,
will
as
not put
fictional
up
as it gets.
with that kind of behavior.
That's
I
prejudice.
I know. We're also streaming on your woke channel, Eric. But you don't have to be that offended at everything.
It was a jump scare. It's on the thumbnail though. I put it on the thumbnail.
Oh, well, why didn't see the thumbnail?
Exciting? Like what? What if we could go anywhere we want in the whole galaxy?
Is this a
A
specific
real
planet?
adventure.
I don't know the answer to that. I
It
know
just
that
looks
it
like
takes
Earth.
place
Like it looks
after
like a
Return-
futuristic Earth. So
Right. That's one of the criticisms is that it looks very Earth-like. But to be fair, we've seen all kinds of weird worlds in Star Wars. Why would one of them not look?
well, the
so
one that
weird?
was in Obi-Wan, the one that gets blown up, looks very earthy. Alderaan,
in the Obi-Wan series.
is that the one that gets blown up? Or am I thinking of another?
Yeah, Alderaan gets blown up.
And that's the one we see. And that's the one we see in Obi-Wan where
episode 4.
Princess Leia's on.
Yeah, that did
She's
happen.
running through the woods and outrunning them fully grown male with little legs.
Mm. I hated that scene, by the way. That was one of the toughest scenes. But anyway, let's continue.
True. No more pretend. I found something buried in the woods.
Cyclops.
What do you think it is? I think it's a lost Jedi temple.
Yeah, this is very Goonies.
Yeah.
Very what?
Very Goonies.
Very Goonies.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally giving me the 80s,
Yeah.
like Steven Spielberg era of filmmaking, like E.T. and all of that.
Yeah.
I honestly have the feeling of National Treasure too. Like
Yeah.
like the like Jedi Temple. Let's look inside with flashlights.
I mean, people keep asking them to go back to like the era where things they loved existed, and then when they do that, they want to complain that it looks
Yeah.
too childish, even though we were children when we watched it, so that's why it looks childish to us.
Yeah,
but
that's funny and reason to complain. I mean, the reason that Stranger Things works as a show is because it's nostalgic in nature, like it's based off nostalgia.
Be careful where you step.
It's like the Alabama
We're lost. Really lost.
It is dangerous out there in space. Trust no one.
So this definitely feels like one of those just I mean, it's not even young adult because it's pre-young adult, so it's very much like a children's fairy tale.
Yeah.
like in Star Wars. You know what I mean?
I always feel like this tone is kind of like Star Wars Tales of the Jedi meets live action.
Yeah. It's also very to be quite fair, it's like the first Harry Potter movie when they were really young.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got too.
Yeah.
especially with all the creatures and stuff.
Yeah.
Harry Potter. Oh, no, I just got me stuck on it.
You're a Jedi.
Okay, so let's talk about it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the trailer was pretty good. I don't really have any complaints about it. I totally get the vibe of it. I know it's not going to be for everybody. I think to assume that every single property that has a spinoff or something that goes along in that world is for every single person is a little silly, especially an IP like Star Wars. But I'm sure that's probably what they're saying. Who was this made for? Who greenlit this? Blah blah blah, etc. It looks fun. It looks very family oriented. It looks like a kid's adventure. I think a lot of kids are going to love this. This is them trying to speak to the upcoming generation who didn't is these young kids who did not see Star Wars when it came out in theaters, didn't see the prequels, might have seen the sequels, but really doesn't know a lot about Star Wars, and they want to give them something to get them into Star Wars. Because remember, Disney is basically really invested in like expanding this world of Star Wars into something that is a much bigger thing. So it makes sense. All of that makes sense to me, and it looks good. I don't have an issue with the visual effects. I think it looks really good. I'll give it a shot. I'll watch it most likely. So
I think it's a good idea to like expand on the universe, because if you're stuck with the small confined space of 6 movies or 9, if you will, it doesn't go anywhere. If you spread out, there's more stories, because there's not just one person in this universe, in this whole like franchise. Like, it's not just about Anakin, it's about Obi-Wan, it's about these other Jedis, it's about how
Grogu, it's about the Mandalorian, it's about like all these different people.
How did the Jedi form? Like, there's lots of stories before the episode 1 even happened.
My only concern is it's a TV. I'm sick of the Star Wars TV. Like, I feel like this would work as a movie. Like, I feel like
100% agree with
this
that.
type of thing. I just feel like this type of story doesn't. I don't think it's going to be like a ridiculously expanded story. It feels like it's going to be very nutshelled, if you know what I mean.
It feels skippable to me. This feels like one of those shows where if it's not for you, you can just like completely.
I think a lot of the shows that we're seeing made were probably pitched as movies. It's just like, look, we've taken a break, blah blah blah. So. And I don't know how many. I'd assume 8 episodes. Is it 8 episodes?
Yeah,
I know because I think Star Wars has been doing that, like capping at 8. So,
I think this is happening before Mando and Grogu, right? The movie.
Oh yeah.
So
Actually, that's on here as well. I want to talk about that.
I think that this is everything that the Star Wars TV shows have done. I think it's all going to be like concluded in the Mando and Grogu story.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I'm not a huge Star Wars guy, but it feels like there was that huge push from both Marvel and DC to like, hey, try different things. Hey, push Disney Plus. They were unable to get any of those movies off the ground. And again, I like TV, but I do think Star Wars is a brand that works better in the movies. And it feels like there's a push to try to get back to that starting next year. Is it the year? I think it's the year after that, fortunately. I think it's 2026 is the Mando movie. But I agree. I definitely want to see Star Wars like back on the big screen. But also, I think like, I don't know, like I'm seeing a lot of people say, yeah, this is meant for like a younger generation. It kind of just feels like what Disney's vibe is a lot of the time, like in their live action kind of like era. Like it reminds me of like a Mary Poppins or like a Peter and the Magic Dragon and stuff like that, where it's like, yeah, it's about a kid going on an adventure. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Like it's
I don't know why people say it all the time just because it has like a 12-year-old lead or something like that, because you look at like the It movies and stuff, like they're all 11 years old or some shit. And I mean, you can go back and rewatch Goonies or something, or you can watch Stranger Things season 1 and they work. It depends on, like, it might be young, like they might be young leads, but like the tone might not be like mature to an extent, but it's for all ages. They can sit there and watch it. Like, there's a reason that like something like Inside Out 2 can make 1.5 billion. Do you just think it was 4-year-olds going to watch it? No, it was people of all ages. Same with Incredibles 2.
Well, I think this is a family series. Like, I'm thinking of it as like a family series. That's what it feels
like. Fair enough if it's like Boss Baby or something, or fucking Minions or some shit, where it's like brain rot. So it's obviously a 4-year-old watching it. Right. But if there's something where there's a proper narrative and the characters are relatable regardless of their age, you know.
I think it's going to be a mix of like the new generation of getting them interested in it, while also tackling the people that grew up with Star Wars, meaning like having some mature content, because there's a adult Jedi. I don't think the adult Jedi would be acting like a kid.
Right. I also want to point out that what really sucks about all of this like culture war shit when it comes to Star Wars is this is the first show where on Star Wars where the cast is primarily children.
Yeah.
And a lot of them may not be on social media, but they will be eventually.
Yeah, keep them away from it for a while.
Yeah, they're gonna see all of this shit. If they get on YouTube and type up, like, can you imagine they're excited about being in this show, and they get on YouTube and they type up Skeleton Crew to watch people's reactions to their like announcements, and you see all these people kind of like calling them DEI hires and stuff like that. Like it's unnecessary. These are kids in a family show.
Especially the elephant kid, like they're gonna have a rough time.
I know that one is.
Their trunk's gonna be flopping everywhere. Yeah, it's gonna.
And I think it kind of we saw the dark side of We saw the dark side of critics, where you had this 8-year-old girl playing Princess Leia and being harassed online.
It's just like death threats and
death threats and everything.
Look, it's not right to go after anybody, but there's something really egregious about going after like child actors. I find that to be really disgusting. Which is why,
to be fair, to be even, if you're making the show, make a good show. Don't make it shit. Like that's
well, yeah, but that doesn't have anything. But that doesn't have anything to do with the kids. Like the kids did not make the show; they were.
Well, I don't know. We're seeing more and more actors get into producing nowadays, so I don't know.
Yeah,
We might
can
get
you imagine one of those kids as a production credit? Like that would be fucking hilarious.
Trunky McTrunk has written episode that ruins the show. It ruins the show. Now we know who to blame.
Yeah. Moving on though, this is the logo for the Mandalorian and Grogu, and they did show a little bit of footage. We got to see Grogu in his armor. Not going to show that here, unfortunately, because that will get tagged for sure. But they haven't. Look, I'm just gonna. This is my plea to them. If you're gonna show a teaser at these conventions, just put it out online.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why you do this. I know it's to generate hype, but it just becomes. It feels really bad when fans can't share and talk about things because they have to look at leaks, and you guys are trying to hype them up. Like, just release it, even if it's a teaser. Just put it out online. Put it out on fucking Twitter or something.
I don't know. Does this warrant being a movie? I thought they just done another season.
I have my questions about that as well. In the trailer, though, we did see they're flying around. There's like an ice planet. Grogu has armor. There's actually there is a picture I might show.
I think this is like going to be like a movie that goes into a TV show for season 4.
I mean, I kind of think this is like the wrap up of like.
I thought it was. Are they doing another season than this?
Are they?
Yeah. They announced that they're going to do a season 4. It's just.
That's wild. Hold on, let me So apparently, I didn't know this character was going to be in there, but apparently, and maybe you guys are more familiar with it, but the character of Zeb.
Yeah.
And
fuck me.
Looks really good though. I mean, this looks really, I mean, I don't know if people complained about it or not, but to me, this is really
pageants. But
I know what is like? Why do you keep insulting these alien species? It's like
sorry if you're at the alien species. Sorry, Zeb.
But this is one shot here. I'll take a risk on this one, but I
saw the beard to you, Eric.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Matter
of fact, that was the model for this.
Nose as well.
I kind of like that they kept the voice actor from Rebels, which it kind of like, I guess, it feels nostalgia when you think about it. Like the character Zeb is continuing from Rebels, which is, I like it.
That's actually probably not a good thing either. Like first adopted, and it'll be like a violent probe as well. It wouldn't be like.
I also thought Chopper was good. You know, like how they did Chopper
what's Glop Shitters?
Glop Shitters. Are you asking for a verification of what that is?
No, I thought you might know. Buddy might be able to clarify.
No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, you might know. Sorry.
But I don't know every single bit of slang.
Well, but you're like what do they call it? Chronically online. So
no, that's you. You're the one that keeps sending me weird memes. Like I sent
you one meme. Oh, sorry, 2.
Still, that's more than me. I don't send memes to people because I'm not chronically online.
But that second one was about Trump now being gay. But like,
you had to mention the name so you like get the politics.
Yeah, but you said it was about. I didn't say AI. Trump.
Don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about it. I don't want to get into a discussion about that.
Oh, okay. Glup shitto is a Star Wars fandom slang term for background characters. Oh, so like characters that are made to be more important than they are. Or something.
Yeah. So this is what Buddy said.
Like Accelerated Man or something.
Right. Where's it at? Mandalorian feel when it reversed every single choice made by the narrative as Mando and Mando as a character. A lot of people did not like the last season of Mandalorian, but I
can't remember what
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it either.
It's the one that has a lot of like the Mandalorian lore in it, and not so much of Din.
Jack Black, right?
Yes, Jack Black and Lizzo.
Yeah. Jack Black and Lizzo.
Yeah, what's funny is
Eric's mate Lizzo.
The show's called The Mandalorian, not Din Djarin. Just saying.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I just thought I was distinctly.
It honestly sounded like you were criticizing it, Eric. To be completely honest.
No, I said it was the season that had more Mandalorian lore in it and less of Din. There's no criticism of that.
It was the tone. It was the tone.
Stop trying to make me the bad guy.
A Billie Eilish reference, or was that just
do 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 do? Nope, not gonna do it.
Yeah, don't sing. You just had to go on me about getting copywritten.
Yeah, it is what it is. What else do we have here from Star Wars? A few other things. Andor season 2 was talked about. I don't know if was there a teaser shown for that?
No, it's just info.
That show?
Andor season 2. Ben's character's returning. A couple other characters are returning as well. There's gonna be is that the one they said there's gonna be time jumps throughout the season?
There's like a 4-year time jump or something.
Every episode.
So that's gonna be interesting. I liked Andor season 1, but it is a very tough show to get into because it's such a slow burn.
I was going to start the other day. I got so close to pressing play, and then I ended up watching Cheaper by the Dozen. So,
look, I will say this: it is a very good series, but it doesn't start to really warm up until about 4 episodes in. So it takes a while for you to start to get to that point. But I think season 2 will be better because we've already established all the stuff we need to establish going into season 2. So it's kind of like when you watch shows, like the first seasons are kind of rough. Like some seasons are really good. Like the first season of The Flash. We have to talk about Arrowverse at some point during the stream, but the first season of Flash is really good. But there's a lot of shows where their first seasons are rough. Like if you look at Supernatural, some people would argue that Supernatural season 1 was kind of odd in the way it was done because it was like a Monster of the Week show. And then it turned into like a show that had long form stories.
Smallville had a metahuman of the week that vanished later on.
Get him out of here.
Should know that was coming. All right. Was there any other Star Wars movie or TV related news? That's all that I had written in my notes. Did I miss anything?
I will say that with Andor, I didn't like the character in Rogue One. Like he was so like dull.
Okay, 3Dub. I remember we talked about this on, I think, the actual Party Nation, and you said that you didn't like it because there was no Jedi in it.
I didn't like it because there's no Jedi either.
And you said that it wasn't Star Wars because there was no Jedi in it. See, look, I knew it was going to say that.
I'm sorry, it's your worst take.
It's more like there should be mention of it. They don't have to show them. It's part of Star Wars. Like Force is everything. It's like part of the whole like universe. So for them to not use the Force,
doesn't one of them use the Force?
It's just normal people, huh?
Doesn't the Asian dude use the Force?
Yes.
So doesn't it undo?
That's why I said. That's
I've only seen that movie once as well. I know that.
I'm not talking about Rogue One. I'm talking about Andor. Like
he doesn't like the character of Andor, is what he said.
I don't like Andor as a like character. I like the female in Rogue One. The Rogue One female was more interesting than Andor.
Is that her official name of the movie, Rogue One female?
I think it is.
I call her Stardust because that's actually her
female one.
look, even Buddy doesn't get this. 3Dub, come on.
But yeah, like Han Solo is interesting character to where I would watch that show if it was
You got a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People didn't watch.
I watched it.
See, this is her official name, Jen Urso, not Rogue One female. Although I have to say, if that was her actual name in the movie, if they called her Rogue One female, I would laugh so hard. That would be so
it could be her pilot.
So great.
Pilot name,
like her call sign, right? Like this
Rogue,
is her call
Rogue
sign.
One,
Rogue One female.
Rogue One Squadron.
It's also like an incel Chad said it as well. Like Rogue One, who says female? Who uses the term? Welcome to this room of female.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even think about that. But
cancel
right.
3 dubs. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you think about Star Wars, like Star Wars Episode 1, there was Jedis, there was Dark Side, there was Star Wars Episode 2, 6, 9, 12. Like all those had Jedi, had some sort of like force where they were using it. And you even have like Mandalorian. Guess what? Luke Skywalker. There was mentions of the force.
Yeah, but he doesn't fucking show up until like season.
Well, I mean, like
season
Grogu
1?
had powers and stuff. So
yeah, so did the Asian dude.
Yes, and I'm not complaining. I like Rogue One. I'm just saying I don't like Andor because there's no Jedi or mention of them.
All right, so I'm trying to find a picture of this next thing we're going to talk about before we get into it, but I can't find one because Disney and Marvel have issues. Oh, that was that's why I don't show my tweets when I'm scrolling through it, because random boobies will pop up and I'm like, okay, whenever I'm searching for something, that's what happens.
Searching.
I'm looking for stuff under Ironheart and random boobies popped up. So I'm like, I'm not sure.
Okay, that's a bit sus. Anyway. Okay.
Wow.
It's not sus with me, it's sus with Twitter. Okay, we can't find one, but we'll talk about that. So the first thing I want to talk about is the teaser for Ironheart. I watched it, obviously.
I didn't see
we got new iron, like a new Ironheart armor for Riri. Ryan Coogler was there to do the announcement, being involved in the show, and it comes out next September. Like not this September, but next September. So,
but it's a year away.
Yeah,
mate, they filmed that thing like 2 years ago. What's going on?
Yeah.
They showed a trailer in like 2022, and people have been waiting for it to come out. I think I have a theory on that. I think it's because they've been waiting for Agatha to come out, because I think Agatha is going to semi set up the like Young Avengers, and I think Ironheart's really going to set up like the Young Avengers. I think she's going to be one of those core members. So they've been waiting for Agatha to come out so they can get this out, and it's just taken way too long.
I don't know.
How is Agatha young in an Avenger?
Because Billy is there, and I think he's going to be one of the members.
Who's Billy again?
Wanda's son,
Billy
grown up now. Yeah, the guy
I
from.
thought he was I thought he was hallucinating. She was.
No, he's in the show. He's played.
Yeah, we don't know why he's here yet or how he's here, but he's here somehow.
Somehow he showed up. Somehow he's back.
I know it popped up and said it again. I hit it unmute and it like muted me again.
Must have double clicked.
I didn't touch anything. It's a conspiracy against me.
Do you think that?
I actually think that you work for StreamYard secretly, and you come in and you do shit, and that's how it happens. Like you
trust me, if that was the case, there'd be more shit going on. It wouldn't be that subtle. I'd be bringing stuff up on screen and be like, "Oh, who did that?"
Yeah.
Honestly, with the Ironheart stuff, do you think they're just like it's just sitting there ready to come out because they don't know necessarily when to drop it? Because and also it's a show that's stuck in the no showrunner era for Marvel. So it's like, and I don't want to jump into a show just saying it's probably shit, but they've had a rough track record with the no showrunner shows. Like some are okay, some are good, but that were the ones at the beginning where they had a lot of time in the pre-production development stage.
But AG, that's the thing, though. They have a lot of time with this too, because this is
it's already filmed. That's my only thing.
There should be no issues with special effects or editing.
I saw the footage, and obviously it's hard to tell because it's like filmed and stuff like that. But it looks like it's carrying on the story fairly decently. It's about once again how it strings along. Is it warranted being? Because that's the big thing. Is it warranted being a TV show? Does it?
My only issue is we saw in She-Hulk what happens when they don't have the budget to do proper VFX. So that's my only concern, is that it's going to be a little bit weird with the VFX because it is a TV show.
Well, I know that they did build the physical suit because I remember like in the 1900s when they actually filmed the show, we did see some set photos.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the Anthony Ramos. Anthony Ramos, is that his name?
Yes.
The actor?
Yeah.
He's playing the villain, like the guy in the hood, the Red Hood thing. Well, he's not Red Hood, but he's in a Red Hood.
Hood is his name.
Oh, is it actually Hood?
Yes.
Oh, get him. Fuck, was he Robin Hood?
No, the Hood.
No,
Oh, the Hood.
He's a Stephen Amell ripoff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, like the. So I mean, maybe they might really harness the or embrace the physical.
I want it to be good because there's a lot of stuff that the stuff we've heard about the show sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So I want it to be good. I think the visual effects looked really great when she was flying in the new armor and then hit the truck. There's a scene where she hits a truck in that teaser, and I want to see it like legitimately. So I'm saving my full thoughts on that when we get like an HD trailer.
Do we know how many episodes it has? Is it the 6 or the 8?
I don't know. Let me see quickly.
Because Agatha's 9, which makes me really happy. Like I think that's a good runtime for these. That's what WandaVision was.
So
is it 6? Oh,
yeah, it says 6. Yeah, it's 6 again.
I hate those 6.
6 should be a movie.
This and also I think it's gonna be interesting because this is the last one. I think the last one under the like old regime, like without a showrunner, without a
yeah,
Bible.
it is. Yeah.
Does Agatha have a showrunner?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, because I guess release schedule wise, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, but it's gonna be interesting because Daredevil comes out before Ironheart, which is kind of crazy.
Oh.
And they have a showrunner, and they have a showrunner and a show Bible and stuff. So. And that was announced like 2 years after Ironheart.
Yeah, and the person or the people behind Agatha sort of pitched it on the success of WandaVision.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even something they were thinking about doing. It was just like, we have space for this show, so why don't we?
So it's probably going to include like a subplot that probably would have been another movie or another show or something
Most
like
likely.
that, just to push story.
Agatha does kind of like look like what the like Netflix shows were trying to do though, where it's like, hey, we're telling the story over here, we're having fun, we're just doing our own little thing. There might be a little reference, Wanda might have a cameo or something, but like.
Speaking of Netflix shows, Darren, the Daredevil Born Again teaser, in my opinion, to be completely honest, even though it's bad quality, was the most exciting thing to come out of D23.
Yeah.
Easily for me.
I haven't seen it.
I loved it a lot.
Oh my God, it was so good. I will be honest, this feels like a direct continuation of the Netflix show. They did not skimp on anything. The violent parts of it, the cinematography, the sound design, everything that I saw in this teaser looked like it was just like it's almost like you logged in Netflix and the new season just dropped. That's what it looks like to me.
I still have like a few like questions. Would the 3 suits that we know that exist be in the show?
I don't know if they're going to do that because it is a new suit, but it's more like deep saturated red than the other suits have been. So it looks more comic book.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna do flashbacks to probably bridge the gap.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Like,
so that's why you'll see the different suits. You probably get him wearing 2 suits in the present day, and then when they flash back, you'll see the different suits.
Because it's
like,
been.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I'm hoping that they do like a blip suit, the suit he wears when he's during the blip, and then I want the yellow helmet suit, and then the new suit.
Yeah. Because it's been 7 years since the 3rd season, like timeline wise, like there's been 7 to 8 years. We don't know what he's been up to. Like there's this entire gap of time. So there's a lot of suits he probably.
We know he went to see She-Hulk. We know that.
Well, that's that was like 1 day out of the 7 years.
Yeah. So it's been 6 years and 364 days.
And we saw him in Spider-Man: Far From No Home.
So 6 years and 363 days.
But in that day, he could have just I don't know, put Kingpin in prison or took out he could have done anything in those same days. So
yeah. So in that teaser, I'm gonna try and find some pictures here while we talk about this. But anybody have any overall thoughts of it, like that you want to bring up before we get into
which?
My only concern is that people are gonna be very critical of it, maybe just because they'll hold it to the Netflix show.
And a possible standard, yeah.
But I actually think this will be better than the Netflix show just because of the interconnectivity with the larger universe.
I think so too. I totally
think
agree.
they're not going to have to like avoid anything, like avoid broken glass. They can sort of just do what they want.
So here's some screen grabs of White Tiger. Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
love that suit.
Someone just said "Rest in Peace, Punisher" actor. Which one?
I think they mean the White Tiger actor, the actor who's playing White Tiger passed away.
Yeah. So this suit, what we're seeing right here, feels absolutely perfect for the Daredevil world.
Is this the Ryan Gosling meme come to life though? Is this the?
No, it's not.
Okay, I was just wondering.
But yeah, this looks to me. Yeah, so Cody says this here, right here. This looks like a Netflix show with an actual budget. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. It really feels so perfect. And what Paige was saying is, we don't have to disconnect things. So if they want to reference something very specific from the MCU, they can. What were you laughing about? Was there a comment?
Frozen?
What?
Are you back, Eric?
Did I go away?
You froze, like you're playing musical statues or something.
I'm watching on another screen, and I was moving on the other screen, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you were good on my side as well.
So
you froze. Darren's moving.
Oh,
I think 3 was moving or something like that.
Yeah. Well, Buddy said that he would like to see the DD on the chest. I think we might actually get that eventually.
Yeah.
I feel like in the world of the MCU, it wouldn't be weird for him to have the actual logo. Not that it would have been in Netflix, but that didn't feel like the vibe of the shows on Netflix, really. But this feels like an evolution of that. So I do feel like we will get there. I wouldn't be surprised if we get it at the very end of the season, like it shows him with the DD on his chest.
Yeah.
I need a different design suit though, like the layout of it, because it's very like plated, if that makes sense. Like it's segmented. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you could look great there. I don't know. Maybe it would. Maybe Tony Stark makes it. Or Tony Stark's funding makes him a suit.
I'm starting to notice that the eyes of the suits is kind of like cool. Like if you look at the Wolverine in Deadpool and Wolverine, his eyes are like white. Like it, I would think that like they didn't have that like in the old comic book movies. We barely got like what comic book eyes look like. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I was trying to find a shot of the suit in the trailer because we got a lot of shots of it, like from, behind the scenes photos or whatever.
So is White Tiger the villain of the show? Because that was going around for a while. That was rumored, at least in the OG run or whatever. I know that was really rumored. I
think this might be a situation where he starts out as kind of a villain, but then isn't really a villain because we know that Kingpin's involved with the show.
And Bullseye as well.
Bullseye's there. Punisher is there, but Punisher's obviously going to be on the side. So, yeah.
Fortunately, we got that set photo, which spoiled the show. Man.
So
I really hope that that dealer, the gun dealer, is in the show. That would be kind of like a cool callback to his cameos.
Hero's Journey. I don't think Kingpin will be the main villain of the season, though. Like it seems like he's going to be an antagonist. But
because he's going to be like mayor. Isn't he running? Is he mayor or running for mayor or something? So they'll probably just be like in that position of power.
A thorn in his side the whole time. But I don't know if he'll be like the big guy.
Think there is rumor that Kingpin and Daredevil are going to be like teaming up for the big bad in the sense, not like. Obviously, Kingpin can backstab Daredevil.
So Genesis, does Sony have the rights to Hammerhead and Tombstone, or since they're Daredevil villains, also they're free game for Marvel to kind of use like Kingpin? I don't know. I know Sony has a massive library of characters that appeared in Spider-Man first, so you have to find the first appearances of those characters. If Hammerhead and Tombstone appeared in a Spider-Man comic first, they probably have the rights to those characters.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got a couple super chats here. One from Cody, $5 super chat. They're trying to line it up with Armor Wars. More importantly, I know Billy is there, by the way, talking about Iron Man.
Isn't that a fucking movie now that they're not talking about?
Yeah.
Didn't they go from a show to that? Man, that's not coming out.
Don
Cheadle will be like 74 million years old once.
I think the like Robert Downey stuff is either going to be like, well, this movie's never coming out, or it's now one of the biggest projects because Robert Downey Jr. is back. But I don't know, the fact that they're just not mentioning it. Like, yes, there's a couple of spots open like before in the middle of Secret Wars, but like, do you really want to waste one of those on like Armored Wars, a movie that originally looked like it was going to be kind of more standalone in his kind of like, you know, what Rhodey was doing post like Endgame. So I'm wondering if maybe they're like, well, Downey's back now, we'll just merge some of this into Secret or like Doomsday or whatever.
I don't know.
Ooh, a special presentation would actually be kind of cool. I'd be down for that.
Let's see here. I wish I could show this next clip, but I know it will get flagged. I know it will 100%.
I also think Armor Wars could like not happen because of what the original story like changed because RDJ is now the main villain.
Yeah, 100%. Like that changes. I mean, that would fundamentally change Rhodey's, I guess, role in the next several projects. Like I think again, Rhodey should be, I think, one of the main kind of people in Doomsday, right? He's one of the close, like everyone's talking about, hey, Spider-Man, yeah, Spider-Man will be affected. I think Rhodey even more so. Like that's his, like Rhodey didn't get to see his, like he wasn't there when his friend died, it seems, and now his best friend's back, but I want to grieve over my friend. I want to console. I want to have that moment, but this guy's evil. So like, how do you write that?
Yeah.
Okay, so out of the four of us here, based on what we know about Armor Wars, are we like excited for that, or is it one of those things where we need to see more before it?
We need more context.
Post Secret or post Secret Invasion, I was actually really excited because I think that puts him, like, I didn't like that show, but I did like the ending with him. Like I think that could potentially put Rhodey in such an interesting spot, and just like this like midlife crisis of like, I missed all this time. Who am I? What is my role in this world? Where do I go next? And again, like him trying to kind of come back into things. I think it's a fascinating idea. If done right, it's just, I don't know if it's ever going to come out. Like, again, this was announced, almost 5 years ago at this point? Like, yeah, I'm losing hype.
I think Armor Wars should happen, like, in the Mutant Saga. Like, because I think Rhodey should have... I think Rhodey should be in the Avengers movies to have that, like, shock of, like, that clarification of Secret Wars and Secret Invasion, and kind of, like, also get, like, traumatized again by RDJ as the villain, and then have his own solo movie. So that it's all, like,
I disagree, just because I think once they get to the Mutant Saga, they need anything that was baggage to not be baggage. Yeah. Like, it's either comes out before the Mutant Saga or they just ditch it. Because once that's their most important thing, because if Marvel fucked that up, they're not going to be able to, they literally like are going to be shitting themselves in the kneecap, both kneecaps.
Yeah.
If it does happen and before the two Avengers movies, I think we need like 20 minutes of him realizing RDJ, you know, like his friend dying, like having a emotional story.
If they want to do it, set it between Doomsday and Secret Wars instead of the Doom World thing, and have it be some crazy shit. Like, that's the thing. Like, they have a big playground to use, and it wouldn't surprise me if they push back that Secret Wars movie by potentially by a year, if they can think up projects to put between that, because you can go cuckoo crazy with that Doom World stuff if you want to.
I think it's a little weird to have both of the Doom World and Secret Wars in the same year. I think that's a little weird.
Well, they're a year apart, isn't it?
I thought these were trying to do them in the same year.
I think one's 26, one's 27.
Yeah, one's 26.
There's two movies in between.
So are you saying you think they should push it back further, Paige?
If they have stuff that they feel like they really want to do, let's say Armor Wars, for example, but that shit has to come out before Secret Wars. You can,
Yeah.
because post Secret Wars, it's X-Men time.
And also, sorry.
No, that's what I mean. Like, it's X-Men time, no more baggage. So if they really want to do Armor Wars for, I guess, Rhodey's character, the perfect time to do it is between Doomsday and Secret Wars, because you have that revelation from Doomsday with this Tony Stark looking villain, and then you can have some fun in Doom World and set it in like the perfect environment for that story.
I don't disagree with that. I think that's actually a solid suggestion for how they do it, honestly.
And
that's what I mean. If they have those ideas already in place for what movies, let's say they have 2 movies that they 100% want. Let's say it's probably Spider-Man 4, I guess, is one of them. And another movie, whatever it is, maybe they could push it back. But I think if they push Secret Wars back, they probably push it back a year. So it's around that good date that they normally have those Avengers movies. But that then allows them to put 3 more movies potentially in that bracket there. And then even allowed like the story to marinate a bit more. The only issue is if they leave Doomsday on a massive cliffhanger.
Well,
that's not really played out.
I don't
in those other movies.
know if this was announced at D23 or not. This might have been like a scooper online, but apparently all movies that come out between Doom World and Secret Wars will be a Battle World type.
Well, yeah, Doomsday. I call it Doom World.
Yeah,
I guess it's technically Battle World, but that's what I mean when I say Doom World.
No. Well, they're saying that those movies will take place in that world, which that will give them an opportunity. Like, if you ever wanted them to go completely crazy with films, this is going to be the time it would happen. Would be between those 2 movies.
So,
all I hope for Armor Wars is they don't ignore what happened to Rhodey. I get there's time has already passed between Secret Invasion and Armor Wars, but if they ignore it like the boys, I'm going to be so mad.
Well, my other issue was go ahead.
I was gonna say, to be fair, I couldn't give a fuck if they canceled Armor Wars. I have 0 care for it. But at the same time, if they want to do something interesting with it, fair enough, go.
I want to say for me also, this thing with like Ironheart and Armor Wars, one of the problems that Marvel has had recently is the delaying of stuff that needs to happen sooner than later, because Wakanda Forever would have been the jumping off point for Ironheart.
Yeah.
And that would have benefited that show greatly because it would have been the launching pad for the show. Now the show's got to come out and sort of basically do its own thing, because even though that movie was massively successful, it's been a couple of years, or it'll be a couple of years out since the movie came out before the show even gets released. So I don't know how they rectify that. And that feels like a big problem. And that's the same thing with Armor Wars. That should have came out right after Secret Invasion. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to delay that, because that would have been the jumping off point, unless they're going to completely do something that they haven't mentioned or said or, addressed. I don't see the benefit of delaying things this long. It just seems like a really big mistake.
Captain America 4 should have happened right after Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I also just kind of go back to slightly of like what's going to fit into those rosters. Like, we have 2 before Doomsday, right, that we don't know about. We have 2 in between. There's going to have to be a real conversation with all these actors being like, okay, who's willing to do this for the next 10 to 15 years, right? Because this is your chance to wipe the slate clean. And for those that are like, okay, maybe I'm going to step aside, maybe let someone else take over this role, they're the ones that are going to have a movie here. So if Chris Hemsworth wants that Thor 5, now's the time, right?
Yeah.
I think if Rhodey, Rhodey's not going to do this for the next 10 to 15 years. He's just not. Maybe you keep him around for a couple more, but I feel like if you're going to do that, now's the time. Stuff like that, I feel like this is your kind of chance to do some of that stuff. So I'll be, again, and I know the internet's going to be like a hellfire when that stuff starts happening. Like, once you start recasting these guys or restarting these storylines, when we get the casting for that new Iron Man, it's going to be hell on earth. Yeah. It's going to be really crazy.
Well, the other thing is that we know it's going to happen, and we also know that it's going to happen during the X-Men era. So they're going to do that like Secret Wars leading into whatever the new MCU is going to be at that point. Yeah. And the X-Men will be the primary storyline for however long. The Fantastic Four will be part of that primary storyline. All of these young Avengers will presumably be part of that new storyline. All of the OGs will be younger actors. They'll all be recast as younger actors, and they will get folded into the new continuity because that's how they're going to do it, and we will get nostalgia baited by the other versions down the road. Like we will see Chris Hemsworth Thor return to do a team up with this younger Thor. He'll be from another timeline or something. That's what they're going to do. We already know that. That's going to be the process.
Not going to lie, I thought you were going to say Chris Evans Thor.
Well, I was going to say, do you think they'll do the thing that you're talking about, Eric, where after Secret Wars, there is those two Earths, there's the main one and the Ultimates one. Do you think they keep the main one, X-Men, and the history where Iron Man dies, Captain America goes older, and there's Sam Wilson, but they keep
I
that
have no
Ultimate
idea
thing
which
where
one
you
is
get-
going to have
where
which
you get
history.
Ultimate Iron Man, younger.
Yeah.
He's like 22-year-old Tony Stark or something like that. Like they go, like they specifically
Well,
make
well,
it.
let me tell you how they really fucked themselves.
Obviously,
A lot
live
of what
action
the
Miles Morales
MCU
example.
Yeah. Well, I do believe we will get a live action Miles Morales at that point.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and this is how they fucked themselves. The MCU, the OG MCU, prior to whatever happens in Secret Wars, heavily borrowed from the Ultimates storyline. That's why Nick Fury was who he was. That's why all these characters were who they were, because they took a lot of that and injected it to make the MCU feel more modern, because they didn't want to go back and do those like classic stories or whatever. So when they come out with this new, whatever it is, this new MCU, what are they going to borrow from? There's no other Ultimates universe. There's just that one that they did. So they're going to have to pull from a different storyline or completely make up some new continuity for these characters. So I don't know what that's going to look like at the end of the day, but I do know that all the people who have been asking for them to just bring these characters back or whatever, they're going to say, we wanted them back, but we wanted these actors who are walking with canes and you know, going through, you know, the end of lifetimes at like 90 years old. You know, they joked about it in Deadpool and Wolverine. They want them to come back and continue to play these characters, and that's just not a realistic thing to expect from actors. Some actors can do it, some can, but a lot of them can't, and you can't just hold on to one and keep recasting all the other ones. That just doesn't feel right, you know.
That reminded me of the Deadpool and Wolverine, where he's like, Marvel's gonna make him do this till he's 90.
And there's such an argument from people that like, oh, he's just going to be the MCU's Wolverine. I was like, that's a terrible idea. Like,
yeah, it is.
You need someone younger. Like, start fresh with him.
I thought he would be a good mentor to whatever the newer Wolverine is, but we need another Wolverine.
Well, it depends. It depends if they go Wolverine, him, like, or they go
or Laura,
they go Laura, and they keep Daphne
Look,
Kane.
I know people are. This is very controversial, and I'm sure people are going to disagree with me. But I would be totally okay with Laura just being the Wolverine of the MCU and having Hugh Jackman.
Well, people like her. Like, does no one like her?
I love Laura, but I do think like a regular new Logan would also, I think, benefit a lot.
But I think that's the beauty of if you do the other thing where there's two worlds, and you can have that younger Wolverine if you want. But I don't know. That's the biggest. That was the biggest.
But then they would be splitting up Hugh Jackman or Logan and her again. And I don't think they want to do that. I think they brought them back together. They don't want to split them up again.
Yeah,
it would be kind of funny if they actually get a comic accurate short stack Wolverine.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
That would be funny.
Cody says the new Ultimates. I don't mind the new Ultimates, but that's still a developing story. I don't know if they'd want to start. That would be like them doing something like at the same time they're writing it in the comics. I don't know if they would do that. I mean, maybe they would.
Funny enough, I always think like the Spider-Man that we have in the MCU was an Ultimate Spider-Man. Like he has aspects of the Ultimate story.
Well, the Ultimate Spider-Man was Miles Morales.
Well, I meant like
Tom Holland, like he comes across as black.
I meant the TV show.
So, like, there is that element there. I
sometimes
get that feel. Like,
I meant the TV show.
Uncle Ben Black. Are you gonna get a flashback anyway?
Yeah.
Why? It wouldn't matter. He's fucking dead.
I meant the TV show with like Nick Fury and the White Tiger. You know.
Oh, the animated one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, we have another super chat here from Hero's Journey, and it's not about Supergirl.
Finally, for once.
$5 super chat here. It says, Ironheart, Bane, White, it's not just two suits. It's one suit from in production. A test demonstrated to block upgrade to one. Final product, block upgrade to plus one. Oh, my gosh.
Was this a fucking, like...
They're antagonizing him.
What is this? I don't actually understand this super chat. What is it? It looks like it's like I'm playing Fallout. Like I'm upgrading stats. -1, +1.
I think he's talking about how many actual suits there are on the show. Because I said new suit, but it's just probably the upgrade of the one that we saw already, like it's slightly upgraded. But it doesn't matter. They do it because they want to sell more merch. They want more T-shirts. They want more posters. They want more toys. That's why they do it. But I think it looked pretty good. I did not like Ironheart's armor in Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want a fun fact?
What's that?
Still haven't watched Wakanda Forever.
Jesus.
Oh, really? That's so good.
Really?
It's sitting there on Disney Plus. I'm like,
you should actually watch it. It's a good movie. I don't know why you haven't watched it yet. Angela Bassett is worth the watch time of the movie.
You know, the reason I haven't watched it because it hasn't been relevant to anything.
An Oscar.
That's the main reason that it's like why I held off. Well, actually, I probably had good reason to hold off on Eternals because it ended up being boring as fuck. But with Wakanda Forever, I was like, it's not relevant to anything. So maybe when Ironheart decides to finally release after 4 million years of production and post-production.
Well, I will say this.
I might watch
Ironheart's suit in Wakanda Forever was not good to me. I did not like it.
It'll be relevant to Thunderbolts, I think. So that'll be the big thing going forward, just because of like a side story in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Also, there was some stuff from Thunderbolts there, teaser for Thunderbolts, I think, that had a lot of Yelena in it.
Trailer,
yeah. But again, can't show anything here, so we won't be looking at that one. Release your like most of the Marvel stuff was all leaked. They didn't release a lot of it to the public, which is really annoying. But thank you for the super chat, Hero's Journey. So Cody says here with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Cody. I'll say this straight up: Spider-Man is taking too long. So the fourth Spider-Man movie, which there was, I have something on Twitter here from a scooper.
I saw that.
Let's talk about what that will look like based on the scoop here.
I don't know if I trust that completely, but it's definitely interesting to like.
So you're saying it's Cap right away, or you just kind of?
I don't know. Like some of it felt like a stretch, but maybe I'm wrong.
So let me read what this says here. Okay, so this is a scooper from it comes from Cosmic Marvel, so you know it's probably bullshit anyway. But it says Ned might return. The story has been changed.
What do you mean might?
That's what it's. Look, this is scoops. It's scoop.
It's like me going.
It's Eric, the Marvel movie. Ned
it's like me. It's like me living in Australia and Eric living in West Virginia, and me going, "Oh, Eric, it might rain where you live." I don't know. Like I'm fucking guessing. Like, well,
Paige, it also says the story has been changed, even though we don't know what the story was, but the story has been changed. That's one of the other ones. It says here that Peter will be heading to ESU. The film will release in 2026.
What's
July
ESU?
of 2026.
What's it stand for?
It's a university.
No, but like something university, but like what is Eastern?
I think it's Eastern State University. Filming is currently set to begin later this year, and this film might release between Doomsday.
What do you mean? Oh, fuck, might. We need to get that word out of vocabularies for scoopers. Might.
What are you talking about, Paige? It's totally
Empire
legitimate.
State University. Okay, Empire
totally
State of
legitimate.
Mind.
Totally.
Spider-Man
legitimate.
might be in the movie. I don't know.
Spider-Man might be in the, might continue in the MCU. I mean, who knows?
Maybe.
That's like they have like a wall to lean on in case they're wrong.
It's like, not even that. It's not even a wall. It's like a bulletproof vest essentially.
Spider-Man might come out in July of 2026. There might be a script change. Ned might return. Like these are like the worst scoops
also,
ever.
this
I just
might be
Hero's Journey swooping in here with a $2 super chat. That's it. I hate Darren and 3 Dubs. Screw your trolling. Wow.
Our trolling.
Wow.
Trolls.
Yeah, I agree. You're pretty harsh. You're pretty harsh, to be honest.
That's
We're holding up a DVD, by the way.
too funny. Well, you were trolling. You were trolling them. I mean, come on.
I guess so.
Look, Fevin plays
All
says,
about the hero's
Austin does say
journey.
Aunt May might still be dead. Might still be dead. That's a good one. All right, so we got a new trailer for Agatha All
Tom
Along.
Holland might be Spider-Man.
Maybe. So we got the new trailer for Agatha All Along. Supposedly it's better than the teaser we watched a few weeks ago. So let's watch this. As always, if you're watching this on playback, it may not be here, but we'll talk about what we think about it after we watch it. So here we go.
Agatha,
Who's been messing up everything?
the covenless witch.
It's been Agatha all along.
I have to say, though, that song did get stuck in my head forever and a day after I watched the show. I mean, it's just hilarious.
What really happened to you?
Seekest thou the road to
Copyright.
She took every little bit of power I had.
Gather sisters far.
I'm assembling a coven.
We gotta get back on top. I'm gonna walk the road. Join me.
Darkest hour, wake thy power, earthly and divine.
The Witch's Road will give you the thing you want most.
Okay, can you pause there for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
So do you think there was a competition? Only 2 people entered for songs about witches. Agatha got the decent one. Acolyte got the absolutely fucking awful one.
Yes, probably. I think that might be the case. Like the two.
Agatha got the one that actually had a decent amount of
two
lyrics
become
going on.
one. Oh, one become two, two become one. Like whatever that
Yeah.
song was.
So Acolyte got the one written by like a 1-year-old, and I guess Agatha got the one made by at least a 16-year-old. At the very
yeah, I actually think
With
that
the
this
musical
is a very campy
ability.
series. This is made for like theater people. I think it is very much like it almost feels like Wicked in a way, like the Wicked movie or whatever. Because of
Into the Woods.
Yeah.
The vibe I've got is the Disney Channel like Halloween type movies, like your Hocus Pocus and stuff like that. That's like it's supposed to be scary for like the preteen audience, but anyone above that probably not. But I also kind of think that's the point. Like, I think there's a reason they're putting it out for the Halloween season, where it's like a family, yeah, come and watch this scary show with us kind of thing. Like, I think that's why they're making it. So I don't know. I kind of think I think it's supposed to be camp.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
What do you think? Before you start, what do you think of Sam Raimi directing the X-Men?
Nah,
I don't think so. I think Sam
style.
Raimi did a really good job with obviously Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, but I can't see him doing X-Men, to be honest. I would like for the X-Men directors to be somebody good at handling multiple characters on screen. Because
whatever it is, Bryan Singer, no.
Sean Levy, maybe?
Sean Levy would be good, actually. Yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me if Sean Levy gets it. Funnily enough, he directed Stupid by the Dozen. Was watching it and it said directed by. I'm like, what the fuck? He directed this movie, and he's in the movie. He shows up. He's like some reporter dude. Like, what the hell? By the way, does this remind you of Max Cable's Big Move a bit? Slightly, or no one watched that? Okay, fuck. Press play.
Yeah.
No one watched Max. Mate, people don't watch Max Cable's Big Move.
The road is a death wish.
Heard you guys were having a party.
What's up?
Hey. Shall we?
It will test us.
So, I mean, clearly this is her just trying to rebuild the covenant that she has lost over time. And even resurrecting dead people who probably have an issue with her, clearly. But we'll see.
And our knowledge of the craft.
What?
It's meant to be the Wicked Witch of the.
I mean, look at the three of them here. I mean, this is. It's very, like I said, it reminded me of Wicked. Like, it's very.
Well, it's borderline plagiarism, I think.
I wonder if there's I wonder if they went to find like real witches, or like they are like tormenting people pretending to be witches or whatever, like a convention or something. I don't know.
We don't even know what we're up against.
Our worst nightmares.
How do we pass this trial without any power?
We survive, like witches have been doing for centuries. What happens next?
I'll be honest, I think this is trying to capitalize on also the fans of WandaVision that are looking for that story to sort of continue.
By the way, was it a witch in the Hansel and Gretel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I wonder if they'll go into a big candy house, gingerbread house.
I just need these witches to get me to the end.
The bodies are really piling up.
Why do you let them believe those things about you? Because the truth is too awful.
I want my prize!
Time to finish the road.
So, I wonder, like, I mean, we haven't seen the show, so we can't really speak to like that part of it, but just thinking about where this goes, like, where would Agatha fit in to the MCU outside of this world?
No,
She accidentally creates Wanda into a mutant.
Well, I don't think that's.
I mean, I said it slightly earlier. I think in terms of like its consequences, I do think Young Avengers is going to be the big one, and I do think this show brings back Wanda. Like, I think at the end of the show, we do bring like Wanda in somewhere, and then Wanda will probably be in the Avengers movies, I would assume.
Yeah. So you think ultimately, just like you had mentioned, this is all just to bring Wanda back, pretty much.
Yeah. And also, I think it's just they wanted to make the show. Like, I think it was like, hey, I have this really cool show idea. I want to make this. And honestly, I kind of like that. Like, I like that they can kind of just.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with the show. Yeah, at all.
But this is the thing that probably should be a show, and it wouldn't surprise me if each episode has its own feel, though. Sort of still
very Legends of Tomorrow. Genre. Very Legends of Tomorrow, where they go to the Wild West and they end up in the 1950s.
Well, you know what it'd be like? WandaVision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each episode of WandaVision, or most of them, because obviously some were like towards the end was just one big thing. But like each episode was its own sort of like genre or like period of TV, which had its own genres. And this feels like it might have its own genres within it as well, whether it leans into horror. Because they look like they're playing off The Exorcist there. And then, of course, they might go fantasy, which leads into like, I say ripping off, but like maybe homaging like the Wizard of Oz stuff and like other things like that. So maybe that's what they're going for. But that's why it works well in a TV series that's also in its own shell and in its own bubble. Wizard of Oz reference, I guess.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really leak outside of it, outside of Billy, really. And then maybe some stuff with Wanda, like bringing her back to life. And it wouldn't surprise me if what they're doing isn't intentionally meant to bring back Wanda, but it ends up doing that in whatever way that might be.
If I heard a rumor that they're going to use the title cards that they kept making with the different titles.
Each one's a different one.
As the episode titles.
Maybe.
I would also just say, like, one of the big things people have asked for post Endgame is like, we want different genres, like we want these different kinds of movies and shows, and like, say what you want about the show if you're excited or not. There's never been an MCU project with this direct tone or this direct style. Like, there's never been like a horror Marvel show before. And
almost musical. I would say there's probably going to be a lot of music in this too.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Last one there is a nice person.
Follow me, my friend, to glory.
Two episode premiere.
Did you get the feeling that there's like 4 different Agathas? Because
I think we're gonna jump back and forth between like the Green Witch Agatha and like the Agatha after Wanda. I think what we're gonna get.
I felt like there's a cop version of her, and then there's a crazy, like the one with the dirt.
Yeah, 2 people mentioned the Vision Quest thing. They did address it. I believe they said that there's still the intention is still there to do it, and they talked a little bit about it, but not a ton.
Kevin like Kevin just gave a big update about the people that are like making it, right?
Yeah,
two big directors or something.
And there's
a guy from Star Trek, isn't it? The Star Trek.
Yeah, that's it.
And there's a Nova series that's being like basically re-announced. It was already announced, and people forgot it was happening, and they're like, "Hey,
which one? What
Nova series?"
Oh yeah.
In a few months, people.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I would say this is a 2-episode premiere. Interest in this? Everybody? Anybody like super excited? Or I know Paige's not really excited about it, but
here's where
I
I'm
mean,
kind of at.
if it's creatively interesting, then I'll be into it. I think WandaVision's the best Disney Plus show they've made. So, if this feels like WandaVision, I'll watch it. I don't like the trailers are necessarily excite me, but I appreciate trying to make it its own thing. You know?
Yeah. I'm kind of at a point with it where like I'm excited because it's a Marvel show. Like it has a logo on it, it's doing something different. I really appreciate that. But like when I think about like would I watch the show if it didn't have the Marvel logo on it and be like, well, no. I'd like on its own if it was a completely original IP, it's not typically the show I would put on my own. Which then it turns the question like, well, is it a good show or is it just a good Marvel show? Like with Loki, I asked myself that, and I think I would have watched Loki because it does just look like a fun show. So I'll be curious if like it can impress me overall just as a regular show and also just part of the larger Marvel universe.
Yeah. So Defunct says, don't care exactly, give it a job. It's got potential. Looks intriguing. Fetman says, please, for the love of God, don't have short episodes.
I probably the 30-minute runtime, I'd assume.
I like Aubrey Plaza. We'll probably check out the series later. More excited for Daredevil Born Again. Like I said, I think Daredevil Born Again was the big takeaway. Mal says, not interested but intrigued. Begin the Penguin has all my attention in September. Yeah.
I feel like Daredevil Born Again will be like the legit TV show within the MCU.
I'm excited we're gonna go back to like shows with showrunners where it feels like it's got a good vision of where it is. Love it or hate it, I think a showrunner is really important for TV shows, and that's kind of where I'm at.
The format that they started with it felt like a film.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's why the episodes were edited so weirdly. The pacing was really weird. So let's take a look at the first photo of the new Fantastic Four costumes, or costume, I should say. And
I honestly think this is not their normal costume.
What do you mean?
I think it's a specific reason that they would wear that.
Like, I think it's like a proto suit.
Like going in space or something. Like they have space Fantastic Four suits. They have like interdimensional travel spacesuits, Fantastic Four suits. Like they
so you think it's that they have like Iron Man armor, like their suits are different for the different things they do.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like I don't like all the white, but it still feels like what I would expect roughly the suit to be, especially like a retro futuristic thing. I don't care about the suit. Like I'm still like not convinced by the actor being Johnny Storm. It doesn't.
It's
really
the same suit he has from under the poster, so maybe it is the suit then. If it's the one,
but the suit, I'm pretty fine with. Like, as I said, a lot of white, but then again, he's on fire. It wouldn't surprise me too much if not all of them wear the same suit.
Yeah, I was going to say, what if each suit had a different like level of blue and white on it? Maybe they're not all
like, for example, the Thing. He's just going to be wearing, I'd assume, shorts. Like, also. I don't know. I can't remember, like, because I think it happens in the animated show where the Thing can just turn on being the Thing, and then he goes back to being human. Do you think they'll do that in this iteration of it, at least this specific movie, where he almost does the Thing by almost like hulking out, but he's not like hulking out. He just becomes the Thing. Do you think
I brought up the poster for?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at over here. So this was the poster from the promo where it shows the Thing wearing clothes, which is interesting.
Oh, sorry, he's wearing clothes.
But you can see
that's like it looks like a varsity jacket or something like that.
Okay, so Johnny Storm has no suit on in this one. I know there's another one.
You can see the white collar.
Yeah, but you can see Sue and Reed both have different designs.
Yeah, he's all blue and she's like mostly blue but with like a white.
Right. And her pants are slightly different too, but they still have a similar like feel.
Yeah.
I think people also forget this is a movie set in the 60s. So like they're not going to have the most like advanced costumes.
Yeah. And obviously like that retro futuristic sort of like
like obviously when they go over like in Doomsday, they're probably going to get these more updated modern costumes to wear.
Right.
So I personally like the classic look.
Yeah, so here we go. This is them in the kitchen. You can tell it's in that retro futuristic vibe that the teaser gave. The lighting, the shelving, the cabinetry. the table, everything feels very retro. So a lot of people were saying this was a downgrade from the 2007 film where they got like the super tight, streamlined costumes. But it's two different vibes. We have no idea.
I will say this is an upgrade to 2015.
Yeah, true.
That is true. 100%.
I mean, that poster was better than the 2015 movie. So
I just think it's weird that people ask for comic accurate stuff. They release something that's pretty comic accurate, and the first thing they do is go, "Oh, I didn't mean comic accurate like that. I meant."
Well, to be honest, I don't know if it's necessarily like ridiculously comic accurate, but it's definitely like accurate to what the feel of the movie would be.
I think
So,
it's
like,
got.
it's
I do
pretty much what
believe
I'd
it.
expect.
To me, I feel like the silhouette and the color scheme is very comic accurate.
Yeah.
To me, for the classic suits, but it is more white than the classic suits had, so I can understand that criticism.
Yeah, but the point I say is that he's going to be on fire. Like he's going to be on
Yes.
fire. Like whenever he's running around. Like I don't know how often you're going to see him just there as that in the suit. Like it's going to be on fire. I just seen like 80% of the time he's on the suit.
Yeah, I can't. We know you like it.
All right, so the next thing I want to look at here, let me move that and it's on screen. So we also got some actual really good footage of who is being called Daddy Hulk now.
Are we?
That's what people on Twitter are calling this character.
Is that because of the nips?
I actually think a lot of people feel like this looks more like the way they vision the Hulk to look, except red, which is literally the character's Red Hulk. But I think a lot of people miss the savagery of the Bruce Banner Hulk from the earlier films, and so they're seeing that in this teaser with Thunderbolt Ross.
I don't think it's going to happen in this one, but I think Rageful Hulk is coming back. If that's post Secret Wars or if that's Avengers.
Do you think that's a legit body scan of Harrison Ford's nipple?
You know what? It could actually
I hope
be
so.
that, but I'm gonna just.
What's funny is there is a Daddy Hulk, and
Oh my god!
and that was Mark Ruffalo. He has a son, and from I think it's called Scar or something.
Yeah, but that's Bastard Hulk, I think.
Bastard Hulk. He knows his father. He's just standing right next to him.
Yeah, a bastard's when your parents aren't married when you're born.
Oh, different.
I don't know. I like this design. I don't have an issue with it. I think the VFX look good here. It doesn't look bad. I feel like they've done a few more passes since the last teaser we saw.
It also looks like a more, I know it sounds weird, but like a realistic red, if that makes sense. Like he's not like sriracha sauce red or something like that.
I feel like
just soaking blood.
I feel like
something like that. Like
so this is one of my complaints though. I mean, I know he references it in the movie where he's like, I had to shave it to get elected or whatever, blah blah blah. But yeah.
What if he has a massive snail trail or something like that?
What's funny is he confirmed that he told Kevin Feige, "I will grow a mustache," and Kevin Feige was like, "No."
It probably wasn't required for him. Like he just didn't care. I don't think Kevin Feige cared about that. Buddy says, "Is he Red Hulk by choice or is it done to him?" That's a good question.
Well, that's going to be the later, isn't it? Like, because I do like. I still have to wonder if they're going to kill Betty Ross off, and that's why he does this, and that leads into this because that's what happens in the comic sheet. Like everyone dies, but in that thing, everyone's dead. Like Bruce Banner's, I think off-world. I think he's off-world.
So Sriracha Hulk is the spiciest Hulk.
Red hot chili pepper.
Ghost pepper Hulk.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it looks pretty good. I don't have much to say about it. I cannot wait to get HD versions.
Yeah.
Of these.
I can't wait to see Leader.
When's the next Disney movie? When's the next big Disney movie?
Next year.
Moana.
Alien Romulus.
Oh, just like Marvel or just Disney?
Main Disney, like
I think
not
Alien Romulus.
But that's 20th Century Studios. So I mean, like main Disney. Like
I think Moana 2, and then a month later is Mufasa.
So they might. I know when's Mufasa? What month's that?
December.
They might do a Moana then. Moana 2. They might release the trailer for that. Is that suitable? I don't know.
Speaking of that, that was the next topic I have here, which is the Moana 2 trailer. Are we ready to watch that trailer?
Absolutely.
Let's see here.
Betty Ross is in the MCU and she's meant to be in this movie, but I think she has a really small role. But in the trailer, there's also a funeral. So is that for her? It looks like a big funeral that would be for like a family member or some of the military or someone in like.
I've heard people say Cap.
President's
Cap officially dies in this movie. Like Steve.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
All right, so this is the Moana 2 trailer. This is not on Joe Blow. It's actually on.
I know. I know you must have had to fight typing in Joe Blow trailers into the search bar.
So here we go. Let's see what they got. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
You wanted to come this time.
You were gone forever.
It was 3 days.
Where are we going?
Before Maui stole Te Fiti's heart, our ancestors wanted to connect our island to all the people of the.
I want to say, seeing this now, we're only 30 some seconds into this. I'm already ready to see this instead of that live action one. No offense, but
it's gorgeous.
It's just beautiful.
The fact that this was almost a TV show, like the work that they done since it was supposed to be a TV show, is crazy.
The only thing that's going to be good about the outside of The Rock is that I'm assuming they're probably going to put on like Islander voices and stuff like that because they've hired like either Samoan or Maori actors to do it, so they're probably going to have like the proper accent to do it, which will be better because this is very like Americanized, obviously, in regards to the voice. I don't know who I saw the thing. I just know that the actress is Australian that's playing the live action Moana.
I couldn't care less about the live action one. Like I kind of have a rule in my head where it's like if the live action franchise is still going, you shouldn't be doing, if the animated franchise is still going, don't be doing the live action one. Like wait until that's over, and then you can do it like years later or whatever.
I think The Rock's gonna look goofy though, isn't he? He's gonna look goofy, isn't he? In live action. Regardless of who that cast was probably gonna look
the
goofy.
memes are gonna be great.
Technically, Moana 2 will be out and done with before the live action. So
yeah,
but they shouldn't be working on both at the same time, in my opinion. I think that's a weird thing.
I mean, they already have the story.
Welcome to Suburbs Productions.
But then just be like, well, let's do Moana 3 instead of a live action.
Let's milk the money.
I actually think they could do Moana sequels and make way more money than that live action one. So
kids love these movies. They're at like top of the streaming charts every year.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my job as a wayfinder to finish what they started.
Wanna show how people just how far we'll go.
This is a call from the ancestors.
Oh, it's coming out of Thanksgiving. This is going to do crazy numbers.
Yeah. It's
crazy numbers.
Inside Out numbers, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe not to that level.
Terrible storm. It's an ancient island. Setting foot on its sands would break the curse, bring our people together again.
I know what I have to do. Maui, I could really use your help.
Can I get a chee-hoo?
You will be destroyed, and your wayfinder too.
Now I kind of miss the lava monster. Ow! Ow!
What if you don't come back?
I'll be back. I promise.
Do I hear people?
I'm just calling this right now. This is a big hit. This is going to be a hit.
How much did the first one make?
600 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a
I actually think this is going to make more than the first one.
It probably will because people grow up and you have like a 3-year-old that was out when the first one came out or something, and now they actually would be like, oh, I want to go see that, rather than them parent forcing them to take it.
Yeah. And
Or
just like
just
every
rush
little
ahead.
kid I know, where like they'll just play the movie over and over, like it's just what their big franchise. Like as the younger audience loves.
This might be
Moana.
this might be, in my opinion, another extension of those big cultural movies like Frozen.
Yeah.
Where like kids just love it. And
It
they're
streamed
gonna watch
more
it.
than Frozen, which is crazy because like Frozen is known for being the big kids movie, but like it gets
brain
watched
rot.
more.
I'll be
The
honest,
brain rot.
I like this movie better than Frozen 1.
I
The
do
original
too,
Moana.
yeah.
So
I love Frozen, but
which
I
is
love
weird
Moana.
because all you used to do, Eric, like a couple of years ago, was just
Here we go.
sing. Do you want to build a
No,
snowman?
I
You
did
just
not
go
sing
around
those
singing
songs.
that.
No.
There was actually you made a music video of you building a snowman.
Did
while
I?
singing.
And
Yeah,
then
I
there's
saw
spin-off. There's spin-offs called "Can You Hide a Body?"
Yeah. That
It was
one.
like but you deleted it, so it's like Ben's X Factor audition. that
Oh, okay.
he uploaded.
I see. The
Fuck, I
conspiracy
wish
theories have begun.
if I had a time machine
Mhm.
and I could use it 3 times, one of them would be spent going back to when Ben uploaded that and downloading it. I wish I saw that video. There's the people that saw it as well, and they watched
His
it
X Factor audition.
and chose not to download it. Reminder,
my
they chose
God.
not to download it.
In another reality, in another multiverse.
For those that don't know, the DC TV show uploaded him singing an X Factor audition. Ben cannot sing. That's the thing. So that's the humorous around. I don't know what he was doing with this X Factor audition, but it reminds me a lot of like those bad like American Idol ones, like she bangs like that. Like I feel like it'd be on that level of. It'd be like the Australian breakdancer, to be completely honest. And yeah, so if I had a time machine. Anyway,
you would download and hold on to that one. I get it.
Yeah, with my time travel USB.
Aren't people. Cockamora. You guys,
Coconut? Coconut?
Yeah.
bring it on, coconut. Nuts.
It's how they can say. It's
All right,
how they can say the adult language without actually like borderline. It's PG.
Yeah.
So I
I'm
really
not-
enjoyed that one. So
Jasmine, I'm not disrespecting Ray Gun at all. Ray Gun has my utmost respect.
Yeah.
Australian legend, as I'm concerned.
okay. So we have a super chat before we watch the next trailer, and it's from Staggervore, $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Staggervore. Do you think the Superman film has stiff competition now? I don't think it would benefit either studio to put Fantastic Four against Superman. I just don't see that being a benefit for either one of them.
I don't.
In my opinion, if Fantastic Four goes up against Superman, Fantastic Four will win. It's just got the Marvel Studios thing there. It's got the hype around all the stuff coming up to it. It's most likely where Robert Downey Jr. is first going to appear as Doctor Doom. If they have it ready by then, Feige could do the old flop it out, if you know what I mean, and swing it all about and show his might. If he really, really wanted to. It'd be incredibly petty because they'd be pushing it very heavily to get it done by that date. But the only thing that Superman has an advantage is that even if they do come out the same day or the dates that they have at the moment, Superman's like 2 weeks earlier. So Superman would have 2 weeks before Fantastic Four. But then again, that was the case with Batman v Superman and Civil War. I think Civil War actually had like a month between. And Civil War was seen to have killed Batman v Superman, really making more than it did. So
I feel like Kevin Feige and James Gunn are on good terms, so I don't think they would purposely try to trash.
No good terms in business. There's no friends. You don't make friends with salad, as they say on The Simpsons. There's no good friends in business.
I think they would prefer Fantastic Four during the summer, but I do wonder if Blade isn't going to make November, which I don't think it will, if they put Fantastic Four in November, and so it was more spaced out. So you have Thunderbolts in May, or no, Captain America in February, Thunderbolts in May, and then this in like November or even December if you want to like push it to a Christmas kind of thing. I don't know if that'd work, but
yeah, because Disney usually has other movies that come out at Christmas time, so I don't know.
Usually
Avatar will be at Christmas, so maybe they want to do that.
Yeah, they'd avoid that for a while.
But The other thing I think that's really dependent on the success of the Superman movie is when we start seeing trailers. Like, I think that's the big thing.
Reviews too.
Yeah, we will know pretty early on from the trailers what people's genuine reaction to the film is. Because we'll see like David as Superman, not just screenshots or behind the scene photos or promo pictures.
You actually
or
get to
whatever.
see him talk as Superman and actually, it's just the general feel of the movie, because you can see set photos all you want, but then you don't know like exactly how the feel of it is going to be and everything like that. And also, like, we've only seen like what looks to be like a 15-minute action sequence. Really, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, so like, I don't know, like an eighth of the movie roughly or something like that. Maybe a tenth, maybe it's longer. I don't know.
Were the coconuts in the first movie too?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
that's why I was like, I've seen these before. Where have I seen these before?
I would love it in a world where like I'd love this like Barbieheimer kind of situation with it, where it's like, oh, we're both in the same month and we can both do well. But I feel like it's going to become like a fandom war about like what's better, Marvel 100%. Or DC.
Well, because there was no Oppenheimer fandom; it was just a thing. Whereas Barbie's fandom was
where you had two contrasting films, like one that's bright and bubbly, and one that's about death or the creation of death.
Mara says, I'm out of touch on RDJ's Dr. Doom role. Is he going to be playing an alternate universe Tony Stark that became Doom, or the actor will also play Doom? So they're trying to play games with us and saying that he's not going to be a variant of Tony Stark, which from a fan perspective, to me, that is the most disrespectful way to do it, because it means there's no stakes for the characters in the movie world. Like, this isn't a situation where Robert Downey Jr. was playing like a secondary supporting character. He was arguably the most important character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe up until he sacrificed himself. And so for him to come back to play Dr. Doom and that visual not have any effect on any of the other characters would be a big missed opportunity, in my opinion.
I think even if he is Victor Von Doom, the characters will still see Tony Stark. Like, I think he can play. Like, same thing with like Ray being like, like Ray Palmer and Superman. They like characters are still like, you look like my cousin, but it is technically a different character. So, I think it will affect them.
The way I think of it is he's a variant of Victor Von Doom, but a doppelganger of Tony Stark.
That's so confusing, but it made sense to me.
Because if you think about it, the variants that we've seen in like Loki's, there's an alligator that looks nothing like Loki.
Right.
There's other.
No. I totally get that part. I need if they're going to show his face, I need there to be some sort of visceral reaction from the people who knew Tony Stark. Otherwise, I'm going to feel very disappointed.
But I was going to say with Malcolm said, like, I think Superman and Fantastic Four will be next year's Barbenheimer because both have retrofuturistic type aesthetic and comic booky costumes, but that makes them similar. That was the thing with Barbenheimer; they were on the opposite ends. Like they weren't similar. That was why it worked, and that's why the meme around the double feature worked and stuff like that. My issue with Superman, and someone said it before, was they said Darth Zinn said, "Don't we know leaks of nearly most of the Superman movie?" We only saw like a bit of it, but it's enough where you can connect the pieces and sort of pretty much tell the plot of what the movie's going to be outside of like a couple of reveals here and there. Like it's a corporate superhero world, business runs a superhero, Superman comes in, he's sole trader essentially, doesn't flow with the rules. Potentially like Lex Luthor is sweet with the superheroes at this point, and Superman comes in and ruins it. It's almost treated like Coke versus Pepsi, essentially. And it's almost like we're there in line with the government as well. So the government's not the biggest fan of it either. So it's about Superman finding his place in his world, which is a play on the actual original story, which I think is actually pretty interesting, but in a more like corporate way, so obviously with like little reveals here and there. So the general plot is there, but I think the surprises are still there to be seen, which is probably the best thing to keep hidden.
Another example I was thinking of was like Chris Evans' Johnny Storm is a variant of Johnny Storm, the Quinn version, but also a doppelganger of Steve Rogers because he has the same face. That's why I think like doppelgangers are identical twins. Variants are different but have the same name.
Right. We'll see. I don't think
What
there's
else,
any.
what else
like,
comes out
What? When?
next year, like around that middle of the year? Because the big thing is that people aren't just going to be going to the cinema every month. Like you're going to get people going to go see 2, maybe 3 movies a year at
We
most.
have
It's just expensive to go.
Lilo and Stitch is next summer.
Oh, that's going to make a lot of money.
How to Train Your Dragon, the live action, is next summer.
This is in July, right? July of next year.
Yeah.
Wait,
Jurassic World 4 is also.
Wait, so in July you're having Superman, Fantastic Four, Lilo and Stitch, Jurassic World.
Lilo and Stitch doesn't have a date yet. It's just
okay.
sometime during the summer. But How to Train Your Dragon is July, if I'm not mistaken. There's something else kind of big.
Jurassic World 4 comes out on
World,
July 2nd. Superman comes out on July 11th. Fantastic Four comes out on July 25th. Those are the three big movies in July.
Just in July, and you're averaging out that the average person goes in there and sees like 2 or 3 movies a year.
Yeah,
because of how expensive it is.
Yeah, I think
Mission Impossible is also coming out.
Oh my god!
I think that's kind of. I think actually might fail because the last one didn't do very well. Right?
I will say this: 2025 is a recap of
Yes.
the COVID pileup that we had like last year, at the end of 2021, beginning of 2020.
Anthony is 100%. Jurassic Park could be fucking awful and it still make $1 billion.
True,
that is true.
The last
and
one
it seems
was
to be like
pretty
a
off
lower
and
budget
everything.
one. It's not, like not low budget, but like lower than it.
Yeah, do you remember how poorly movies performed in general between the middle of 2022 and the end of 2023? Like we're leading into that again into 2025. So
and 26
just get
is
ready.
huge too. Like I think 25, 26, 27, unless there's a huge another strike related thing that happens or COVID.
I think Nine Inch Nails is scoring Tron.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that, but we can talk about it briefly because I don't know a lot about the Tron movie, but Nine Inch Nails. Look, so far, all that I've heard about Tron Ares seems to be like it might be a really good movie. And with Trent Reznor being involved with the soundtrack, it's almost guaranteed the soundtrack is going to be iconic because regardless of how you feel about the Social Network movie, that soundtrack was fucking good. And so
he did a
excited.
soundtrack recently, didn't he, as well?
What movie? I might not have seen it.
It was recent they did it.
Mission to comment on what Darren said, Mission Impossible actually suffered from the writers and actors strike.
It did.
Oh,
Also, it had a
Challenges.
huge budget.
He did the
Like,
Challenges score.
Wasn't it like a $350 million budget? That it was like I don't know, like that probably.
It
did.
had a 291 million budget.
It had the COVID delays because there was that like thing where Tom Cruise was yelling
That
at
is
everyone.
true. That is true.
Oh my god,
and then-
he did music for the Mutant Mayhem movie as well. I love that soundtrack for the Mutant Mayhem Turtles movie. Trent Reznor did.
What were you going to say, Paige, before I accidentally interrupted you?
I have no idea.
Okay, so we got 2 more things to look at here before we wrap it up. This is one of those 2. Before we watch this, I just want to put this out there. I want this movie to do well because I think it is a cool project. I think the idea behind it is fine. But there's a lot of
controversy.
Yes, about things like the casting of the dwarves, Snow White, the story behind the film, some of the stuff that's been said on the red carpet. But there's also there's also the issue that people have gone back and tried to like make it seem as if Rachel was saying things that she wasn't saying by pulling up old clips from videos that she's made, getting mad about her and Gal Gadot's comments on the red carpet. There's a controversy about Gal Gadot being in the film because of what's going on with I don't want to mention it here because my video will get suppressed. But yes, there's a lot of controversy behind this movie. I've not seen this trailer. I've only seen the behind the scenes photos, which didn't necessarily look great to me. I'm also not a huge Snow White fan, so I don't even know if it really matters to me. But I am curious to see what the trailer looks like based on everything we've heard up until this point. Because I always tell people, like, until we see an actual trailer for something, it's hard to know what the project is going to look like. So for me, a trailer is that first peek into like what it's going to be. So let's see what it is. Has anybody else seen this trailer already?
I have.
I've only seen like it's like a 20-second clip that was going on Twitter, and it didn't look very good.
Okay, so let's watch it, and I will give my opinion on it. This one, I think might be a bit not great. We'll see. We'll see.
What a threat.
So whistle while you work. Whistle while you work. Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all?
I think that's it, right? Oh
Yeah.
wait, no, there's a little bit here.
Yeah,
actually.
there's like a little.
Okay, so that was the trailer there. Look, it's not really for me. It's not a movie that I'm really super interested in. I think it looks like kids will probably like it. It does have that vibe of like, you're probably gonna get kids singing along with it. The dwarves look okay. The VFX isn't quite there, but I don't know if that's how early in this process the trailer was made. There is a rumor they had to completely reshoot some stuff because the original dwarves were actually human actors, and they had to take them out and put in the VFX dwarves instead.
Which
what were you gonna say?
Is that not like? I feel like that's just brain dead. It's I know that like what's his name, Peter Dinklage said the whole thing, but like that's one man saying something. Like I don't like that's. I think like there had to be some like maybe behind the scenes, like they went and they actually talked to a lot of people with the condition and stuff like that, and got their 2 cents. Which if they did the case and this is the outcome they came with, fair enough. Then I agree with it. If that's the case, if that happened, because you just got to respect the decision from the people that that portion of the film would be representing. But it feels awkward that you're doing a CGI thing that real people could have played, and then that would have been their role. They get the faces out there and stuff like that.
Well, that was sort of
especially because you got to remember Peter Dinklage started his career playing these type of roles, playing characters that were with like small, and stuff like that. And now he's gotten his career to the point where he can play. Anyone. He played like he did a role where he was like in like a love triangle with like, was it Anne Hathaway and another person, like another woman and stuff like that. And it's like, even if you look like X-Men Days of Future Past, his condition not mentioned at all. It's not about it. He's just playing that character.
Right.
So,
but that was the controversy, right? Was that he had, because of Game of Thrones, he was able to break out of that barrier that people have to look or be a certain way to be in a role in a film. Like he had transcended that, right? Yeah. But a lot of people in that community, a lot of the actors in that community said that he went out of his way to try and make it seem like everyone should be at his level doing what he's doing, and therefore they should not be relegated to playing certain types of roles.
Yeah.
And in the process of doing that, he erased
pulled the rug avenue, he pulled the rug from under people. Or I saw the thing that he climbed up the ladder and went, "Screw you guys," and lifted the ladder up behind him and said, "You're not getting up here where I am now."
Well, that's why a lot of people were saying from that community in interviews were that they felt sort of blindsided by his comments because they understand what he's saying in the terms of like, you shouldn't be stuck in these roles where you're playing little people all the time just because of who you are in your real life. And I get that. But at the same time, there are roles and opportunities for people in that community because of that situation that would have worked for this film. And Disney and Rachel and everybody involved with the movie didn't want to do that because they were afraid of offending people, and so they went the other direction.
But that's the thing. That's the thing I'm wondering. Did they just make the shit? Let's just try and not offend anyone, and we'll just do this, which to me is more offensive because they don't look very good CGI wise.
No.
And like, fair enough if they actually like modeled after people, but then you just cast those actors anyway. But they've done the CGI to make them look like
it's basically they're animated characters, so anybody can voice act them at that point.
Yeah. So and we don't know. Like, are they really gonna like? Yeah. Like, we don't know exactly what's going on, but it's if they've actually gone to the lengths to talk to a community or a group of little people and stuff like that and talk about stuff, and this is the conclusion they've come up with, then I'm fine with it. But I just feel like that's not being the case, and the reason is just because it's like a CGI, like uncanny valley sort of weird thing that they've ended up with, which to me just comes across as like 4 times more offensive than anything else they could have done.
Yeah.
I think it actually would have been less offensive to do the thing they were talking about before, where it was like the 7 magical beings or whatever it was.
Yeah,
where there was like imps and like there was like a giant or something like that. That to me seems less offensive than the CGI.
Yeah.
Do you guys know who Brad Williams is? Comedian. I've
heard of him.
Okay, he's basically a little person.
I think I've seen it. I think I might have seen a clip of him. I think you were talking about. I think he was dressed like an elf or something. On a podcast. Yeah.
So he basically said that he likes representation. If there's like the 7 dwarves, there should be a dwarf playing the dwarf, and not like Hugh Grant, who is a tall person playing a short person.
Like the Oompa Loompa.
Yeah. I don't know if I have the answer. Number one, I'm not a part of the community, so I don't want to speak for people in that community. That's the first thing. Secondly, I'm not sure of the social struggles that people who are actors deal with, other than what I've heard. So it's all hearsay. So these are just articles I've read and snippets that I've seen. So I don't know 100%. But I will say if people were, if actors who are little people were hurt by what Peter did, that is really unfortunate, because I would not like for people to lose an opportunity at a job because of somebody else saying things. And
hopefully the silver lining is that whatever has happened here, hopefully they've gotten dwarf actors or little people actors to do the voices. If there is voices, I don't know what they're going to do specifically with that, because I mean,
they should have voices because they do talk.
But you never know. They could be mute. I don't know.
I don't know.
Decide. But if they cast them and like they did the voices, then that's because at least someone's getting paid. Or if there were people cast to play them and maybe they did some filming, that they were paid as if they did the full movie. If they got their paycheck, that's a silver lining, because at least they're not out of work because of it. But but then again, there's like, you can think of like is it Warwick Davis, like Willow?
Yeah,
is that his name?
Yeah.
Like, you think of, like, imagine if he didn't get the opportunities and stuff like that. Like, you think of someone that might done the movie and done a really good job, and then they get more work because of it. Like, there's a missed opportunity, and like I don't know. Like, I think like I know there's other debates about this movie which go into like just like
some of them are really brain rotted though. Like, there's some debates about this that I think are brain rotted. Like, the first one is, I don't care about how white Rachel is, or whatever. I don't care about that.
I think
we're talking about casting the best person for the role. We have to see the movie to see how she does first before we make our judgment on it.
Most of the stuff around Rachel, I think, is bullshit. Like, I think most of her.
The thing I agree with,
really weird.
The hair looks pretty fucking bad. I think they've probably done her a bit dirty there with the hair.
The costume isn't great. Like, I'll be honest, Rachel's costume, like, if you look at where they put Gal in versus her, it's obviously Gal's costumes are much better. But
and there's the whole debate about like, like the Wicked Witches, or like the, what's her name?
Evil
Witch. Is just Evil Witch or Evil
Queen? Evil Queen. Yeah.
Like how like she's meant to be lusting over Rachel's like the Snow White's looks and stuff like that, but it's Gal Gadot who's like a supermodel and stuff. But I'm like, it's also a fucking Disney fairy tale.
Well, not only that, but that's not her true form. That's not her true form. Like it's like a facade that she creates for herself. Her true form is the old woman with like
the hag.
Yeah, like the hag look or whatever. So
and that and also it's like Snow White in the original movies is supposed to be 14. And so I think it's like it's less about like her being jealous.
It's like the people It's like the people that were like, "Wow, Spider-Gwen's hot." Like,
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, hey,
Yeah.
pump
Yeah,
on
But
yeah.
the
also,
brakes."
like in character, I think it's more about just the queen's insecurities. Like it's like
Yeah.
everyone loves this girl. She's going to be queen one day. She's going to take everything away from me, and it's just that the anger boiled up. Over
I'm
all
going
those
to point
years.
something out that I think is probably going to trigger people, but I'm going to say it anyway because that's what I do. I
Edgy.
think the message of the movie, at least what they're trying to do in terms of like how they're approaching Snow White as a character, is that everyone is beautiful, right? I think that's the message, is that beauty literally is something that's subjective. Yeah, it's something that you think about. So just because you don't find somebody attractive, and it's also kind of sus, again, Darren was saying, like looking at the possible implications of the age of the character, like why you would be looking at the character that way. But just because you don't find somebody attractive doesn't mean they're unattractive. That's just a weird thing to say. Like I could be sitting in a room with 10 people, we could all be looking at the same person, and some of us will find them attractive and some won't, but that doesn't mean they're ugly or they're beautiful.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean either. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and that goes into kind of a little bit of what like Rachel said. It was like, yeah, we're updating the story a little bit, and it was like everyone's mad about that. I was like, no, but you should. Like, this is a movie that came out in the 1930s. Like, some of it doesn't age well, and that's okay. It was part of the time.
Yeah.
But don't get mad at them for trying to update this story in certain ways. And also on the other side of that, though, is like, this is a very hard one to update.
It is. Absolutely.
So many
there's
things.
issues about consent in this movie. There's issues about like people being represented in the best way. There's so many other things in this film that are problematic, that I mean, just the dwarves in general, like the way they're characterized as individual beings is kind of problematic.
And you know, and there's clearly a reason why it's not called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's just called Snow White. If they wanted to, and maybe this is also bad, I don't know, but like you could have probably took the dwarves out altogether. Like Once Upon a Time, I don't know if anybody used to watch that show when it was on. They had dwarfs within the show, but like they weren't a prominent role. They very much were able to kind of they were very much side.
But Darren, I will say this: I think that's part of the issue with updating it. Like the problem is, if you take them out completely, people will scream that you are trying to cancel the culture of the old Disney movies. And then if you change them, like Staggervore here did a $4.99 super chat. I just want to read this out because it is relevant to what we're talking about. Are those 7 diverse magical people still in the film, or did the CGI dwarves replace them? So we don't know for sure if that picture actually represented what they were going to do in the movie. That's still sort of a rumor as far as I know. I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I heard it from people, but I don't know if it was true.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Snow White and the Huntsman, I don't think had dwarves, did they?
No. But the reason why it's a problem here is because this is a direct remake of a Disney film, which means that they would be referencing that original film.
Well, the reason that I'm surprised they even touched this is because this is literally Disney's first film. Like it's the first film they released back in the day, like Walt Disney and everything. So, and I think that's probably why there's more scrutiny on it, because it literally is like, if you think about the legacy of Disney, this is like the legacy of it. So, I can understand like the eyes and stuff on it, but at the same time, like I don't think it looks very good. I think it's probably going to flop, especially because they had to go back and do shit to it. Then again, actually, I don't want to say it's going to flop, but it's going to have to perform pretty well to make money because they had to go back and do all that extra shit to it. So it's reminding me of like some of those.
I think it's going to come out at a good time though, because it comes out in March, which I think is going to be the perfect like blockbuster season hasn't fully kind of kicked in yet, but people are still kind of starting to go back to the movie. So I do we know the budget for it? Like, what's it at currently?
Let me see. Hold on. Let me check.
Because that's definitely going to be a very big if it does well or not. Like, I personally just I'm a huge Disney guy. I do like this trailer outside of the.
It's a $200 million movie
without advertising.
Yeah, could be worse, but because we're seeing that a little bit. Like these movies are starting to make less and less. Like Little Mermaid just made back the budget. Like it just made it back, and I feel like Little Mermaid is a much more like this is probably the most iconic Disney movie. I feel like Little Mermaid is the more popular. Like I love Snow White, but I go to all my friends, like none of them have seen like Snow White. Like they like
the only song I know from this is the dwarf song, the Hi Ho song.
I just confirmed that Disney did hire actual little people to voice the characters.
Okay.
Good.
So that's good. That's good. I think another argument is how popular is this original Snow White versus the more modern Snow Whites, because Snow White has been updated. If you look at like some of the more like the Disney children's shows and things like that, they have done things to update Snow White and make her more modern. But this is a remake of that original film, which is why it's so tough.
Wasn't Beauty and the Beast updated?
Yeah.
With Emma Watson and Belly.
Yeah, but I think those are easier to update because they're more recent films.
Like the 90s.
I think that's just the element I'm most.
This film's almost 100 years old, right?
Yeah,
this film's almost 100 years old.
1934.
And like inherently, these are the movies Disney technically should be rebooting. Is the ones that are old as shit. And like, okay, what new angle are you adding to the story? Like, what are the changes? Because Rachel has gone on to say, yeah, we're doing things differently. That's what we're doing here. I think that's great. I think you should be doing that if it's done respectfully. What are the changes? Because I assume we're changing stuff with the prince. Because that's, I think, one of the biggest problematic things that people bring up in the movie. A prince just goes on and kisses a girl without like consent or anything like that. Yeah. So like that's a big thing.
I think it has some of the same aspects of the story itself. Like there's going to be little changes. Like it's not going to be like big to where it completely erases what Snow White movie did, which was the poison apple and she goes to sleep. And obviously I don't see how you can get consent with a sleepless body.
Well, yeah, that's the point. Don't go kiss a sleepless body like that. Just don't.
I mean, you got to think like not that it was ever okay, but the era when the movie was made, it was an acceptable thing. Like it was all right because
it's already been saying it's a story from like the 17 or 1800s.
Right. So you think about that, it's like there's the romanticism of a prince coming in and finding, these women and then lifting them up and making them into someone. And those kinds of stories just don't necessarily work in modern times. I mean, you can still do like a damsel in distress story. You can do that. It's a way you can do it that doesn't feel like it's breaking any sort of like cultural codes. And I think a non-consensual touching and things like that, especially kissing, I think is something that they want to get away from. They don't want to have that as baggage. So
I'm assuming they're going to do something where the dwarves and the animals and stuff probably do something which wakes her up or something. Like
I think it's going to be like the prince just like grabs her hand and like taps on it.
Slaps her.
Yeah, she wakes up.
I mean, in that way, I would
non-consensual abuse. Like,
remember Frozen where Anna was frozen and all it took was like a love connection or whatever. Like they didn't have to kiss or anything like that.
Yeah, Fetman, let's not talk about the original Grimm fairy tales. Some of those are really dark.
Crazy.
Like, let's not get into that. Cody here says also Snow White and the Huntsman is another like reimagining that's really good. Yeah, I love those. I thought that was good.
Well, the second one's awesome.
I didn't like the second one better. Let me rephrase that. I like the first one. Malcorp says it's romantic. When you think about the real world mindset, it's weird. But see, that's the problem. And this is where we're going to get into arguments with people about what these movies should be, right? So you have a group of people who believe they're fairy tales and fairy tales are a free game to do whatever you want to do. And there's no way to really argue against that because it is a fantasy, and fantasy comes down to personal interpretation. So there are going to be people to say that. I get it. I understand it. I'm not going to argue against that. However, these are also large properties that are being shown on a scale that is so massive that they have to also think about the idea that they can be offensive to people. And they want to make sure that they are doing the best things they can to, I know this is going to be a shock, to make the most money they can possibly make, because that's ultimately what it's about. If you think they care about offending people because the board of directors is so worried about being offensive, you haven't been paying attention. It's about capitalism and making the largest amount of money they can off of these IPs, which is why they're willing to make 1 million live action movies. And as long as half of them make $1 billion, the other half don't have to make $1 billion. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think there's the argument of like, yeah, if you want to enjoy that movie and live in that fairy tale, that's fine. They're there. You can watch it anytime you want. But also, you're rebooting this property, and you're not going to want to go through the same as like again, this a movie that was made in like the 1930s. You're not going to be going through the same motions you did back then. You're not. Again, you're showing this to an entirely new generation. I know a lot of people that don't like showing their kids Disney movies because it shows them the wrong lessons. It shows them,
especially the older ones.
Yes, those old ones.
Yeah, Eric's favorite movie was Song of the South. So
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to bring that up. No, there's a lot of movies from that era of Disney that do not hold up for a lot of reasons, and that's one of them that they had to edit. You can't even really find it anymore. I don't even think it's available. I don't think you can buy it except on VHS. Maybe.
Well, no, I don't know about
But look, so here's the other thing, though. This might be controversial. I don't mind if you want to put a disclaimer on something and be like, this is culturally insensitive, but it is a film that was historic and blah, 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 whatever. I think removing something completely to try and pretend that it never happened is kind of.
I think it depends because, like I think, like, because if we go back in time, like when this, like, I think Rachel Zegler went like out of her way to criticize the old movie, like, and I think like even like people were sort of like even like experts in that field were like, yeah, she probably wasn't like media trained for that whole thing.
Sure.
But I think the criticisms are fair enough in regards to what the change is going to be there because it makes sense. But you got to remember, like Dumbo came out and they changed like was it the crows?
Dumbo was weird though. That was a weird movie.
That just wasn't a very good movie. But it wasn't because they took out
which was kind of weird. Like it takes place like they do the Dumbo story in the first 10 minutes, and then it's a sequel to Dumbo.
Yeah, it's
weird.
It's an odd movie.
I think they took out the drunkenness of the elephant.
No, they took out the racist crows, wasn't it? The birds. It's like the racist birds.
They did. They took out the crows, yeah.
But let's it was frustrating because you get Tim Burton. That's like, oh yeah, they're clearly going to do the whole drunk sequence and they're going to do a really cool thing, and it's out of the movie. And it's like, well, what's the point of getting Tim Burton to
do? The other thing about Rachel Zegler is she said a couple of things in one particular red carpet with her and Gal Gadot.
It was like bundled together. It was like
but the issue was that was when they started like going out and finding other sound bites from her and pretending like that was her talking about Snow White, and that wasn't true. So this movie has a lot of that baggage going into it, which I'll be honest, I don't know if any of that's going to affect the movie because we're so far away from that now.
Casual audience don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think like they probably like I don't know how they necessarily come up with the ideas for the specific movies that they turn from animation into live action and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, if I was, Snow White to me didn't necessarily jump out as one, especially because it's not Disney owned. Like you can do Snow White and the Huntsman. It's not their story. Like this interpretation and these designs are, but like Snow White is
I think they probably they're looking through their theme park characters and going, which ones are not the most attractive to the viewers, which ones need to be updated. Yeah. Snow White wasn't as popular as the other ones. We have this really popular classic movie. It was our first big animated film. We need to make it popular again, so let's remake it.
Simple story as well. It's like,
do you think they're going to like resurrect the mother of Bambi because it's too controversial?
Well, they're not going to do Bambi in live action, surely. I think
they were.
They are.
But I know the director left, so we don't know if it's.
No, I prefer if they didn't make that. I think you just leave that as it is.
That was like a Disney Plus movie, though. So
the only ones that I can think of that are animated that they haven't done, which to me just makes sense to do in live action, are that Princess and the Frog one. Just because that was popular as an animated thing. Anyway.
I actually think that would be a really good live action film, to be honest. But
also it was only made like 15 years ago or something like that. That long ago.
So, I feel like it's still long enough ago. They should be looking into making that into live action, especially if they're not going to do a sequel to it.
Yeah, like
I think there was a sequel directed. Yeah, there was a series or whatever. There was a continuation.
It's supposed to come out, but they won't.
Yeah,
they won't put it out.
What's funny is with Cinderella. I mean, it's basically she's technically a slave to her sisters.
That is true.
She's doing chores and stuff, and basically has no freedom whatsoever. They lock her door. She's trapped in the house. Like they didn't take that out.
But I think that's because that's part of her character. Like that's a character thing she has to do with. Like,
And
like
also
what,
she's
like what
blonde and
reason would
white,
she
it
have to
wasn't
be doing anything
necessarily-
she's doing if she wasn't treated badly by her sisters? I mean, that's.
I mean,
kinda-
the Cinderella stories where she's basically it's part of her like daily chores. Is
No, I know,
more
I know
like-
what you're saying, but if you take that out, what is her motivation?
Yeah.
She wouldn't be treated badly anymore, so she would have no reason to do anything that she does.
I mean, you can still keep the evil stepsisters being bullied.
Well, what makes them
bullying her.
Yeah,
what
but
makes
it, like
them evil?
it takes the
otherwise?
it takes like the levity around it, like from like up quite a bit up to.
There's
quite
certain
low.
things you can take out of stories. I think taking
And also,
out
it doesn't
how
make you
word her
go.
wouldn't
It doesn't
work.
make you go to Cinderella like, oh yeah, suck on those ones, you evil.
You're supposed to be
Like, when she gets
sympathetic
the
to
glass
her.
slip off.
If her sisters were like, "Oh, your hair looks ugly," or your clothes look ratty," like that's not enough to like you know what I mean, be on her side. This isn't some like Gen Z melting pot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no offense to Gen Z, but you know, it's just that's not what it is.
I mean, I was just saying like Cinderella story kind of did it without the without slavery.
Yeah, but
yeah, go ahead, Darren.
No, I was just going to say, but in that context, it's not really yes, controversial. That's a terrible person, but also they're the villain, so they're supposed to be a terrible.
It's like they're glorifying it. They're pretty much saying like, you know.
Darren, I think what 3Dub is saying is that people might want to actually be the evil stepsisters, and they're going to learn the bad lessons from that. And they're going
well,
to
they can go to
punish
jail and learn their lesson that
that's
way.
True. That's true.
I mean, the difference between the Cinderella story and the fairy tale and then the Cinderella story is one got paid for her work and the other one didn't.
With that being said, let's move on to the next topic here, which is we have another trailer to watch. We're going to watch that at the end. Let's get through all these other topics first.
Okay.
Avatar 3 title was released Fire and Ash, December 19th, 2025. That's all we really have. I think there was a little bit of like artwork shown.
It's like a title card.
Yeah. But I like the Avatar franchise, so I'm obviously going to go see it. I enjoyed the second one.
With volcanoes? Is that the like a volcano?
I think they're going. I think that's the next tribe they're going to visit is the ones that are like.
Also, James Cameron said that the fire and ash don't necessarily mean volcano. Like, he basically said that they're like a words that mean totally different than you think.
So it's like they're going to be the evil stepsisters named Fire and Ash.
No, I mean like fire meaning like hatred and ash meaning like rise up, you know, like Phoenix, you know, metaphors.
Right, gotcha. Makes sense. Anybody excited about that at all? I mean, I am, but
I'm looking forward to it, but I'll be looking forward to it like the day before I go watch it. Like I'm not counting down the days until it comes out.
Avatar is a franchise that like I love it while I'm in the theater, and then I leave and I'm never thinking about it until.
And then you forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh
That's
yeah,
fair.
they're good.
That's fair.
Fire, water, earth, air.
We also found out there's an Inside Out project coming out for Disney Plus. It takes place between the first and second film.
Yeah, that was announced about a year ago at this point.
Right,
but
I forgot
got
about it.
officially confirmed. Yeah.
The other one is we're not going to watch it, but there was a trailer for a Pixar movie called Win or Lose.
It's a series, actually. Yeah.
It's a series. Okay. That's coming out on Disney Plus, I believe. What does it say here? December? Yeah. What do we think about that? I watched it before we started.
I've been waiting for that to come out for forever. Like that was announced like 2 to 3 years ago. We had the concept, and I actually think it has an incredibly cool concept. Like
so
idea.
Explain the concept for everybody.
So it's the whole show takes place between one softball game, but each episode is from the like POV of a different player, and they both see the game differently, and they're going through their own struggles through each individual game. And I was very excited for that trailer because I was like, okay, I'm curious to see how they show it. And I was like, this trailer didn't give me nothing. Like it was a very like out there weird trailer, but I think concept wise it's really cool. And I think like Pixar does such a good job with their storytellings. Like I think I'm very curious to see how they utilize like a episode like story. Like they've never done that before, so I'm very curious.
Yeah, and I mean it looks pretty good. The problem is Pixar's had a bad track record on Disney Plus. So I wonder like if it's going to be well received or people are going to try and trash it.
Well, this is their first show. This is
the first like official Pixar thing they've done. Everything that's gone to Disney Plus has like not supposed to be on like it was meant to be in theaters, but they just got pushed there. So like I think this and Dream Productions are going to like these were meant for Disney Plus and that like template. So I have faith in this, but you know they've also said like if these don't do well, we're done. Like we're not going to do anymore. So if this is something people want, watch them. Yeah.
For me, it's I'm very picky when it comes to the drawings of animation, and that it didn't click for me.
This is Pixar, so it's computer animated.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still picky.
Let's see here. The next thing we had was Toy Story 5, which that was a trailer that wasn't released, right?
It was a teaser. It wasn't really a trailer,
but it was leaked though, right?
No, it was put out.
They released like a photo, like an iPad brain rot kid.
Yeah, there was a concept art, and then it wasn't even a teaser. It's just like the characters looking at the screen blank.
And they look like they look weird because they're not like properly done. Yeah, like,
they've done that for like all the movies, and it's always weird when they do it. It's like just we don't need a teaser for Toy Story. Like you can
from what we got from the photo, I think it's going to be like anti-text story.
Yeah, it's the toys versus tech, which I've had my problems with them doing a Toy Story 5. I've had my thoughts on that, but in terms of a story for a Toy Story movie, I actually think this is a very fun concept. Like just the idea of like what happens when you're no longer relevant, I think is a very fun idea.
Yeah.
What's making that sound is Paige.
Yes. Like I don't even know why people have to ask. It's really obvious. Incredibles 3 announced.
Yes. I'm extremely excited for that.
Very.
But what do we know about that? What What was it?
I just hope
I know they showed the logo. So.
It's just a logo. It's happening, and Brad Bird's coming back to direct it.
I just hope it's not like like the same kind of thing we've been getting, which is like the first movie is Mr. Incredible going out to be a hero secretly. The second movie was Miss Elastigirl going out into the world being a hero secretly. I hope the third one isn't the kids go out into the world secretly to be heroes.
Are they actually going to be older in this one? I wonder. Are we going to get like the kids kind of grown up? I wonder.
I would hope for a little bit of a time jump. I don't know old enough to make them that old, but like. Yeah. I'm curious because like this is something I mentioned recently over on my thing where I'm like these actors are getting kind of older, like the actor who plays Bob, he's like what is like 78, like he's getting up there. So I was like, if you're going to be doing a Toy Story 3, do it now, mark your legacy, be like, all right, this is the Incredibles trilogy, just kind of set your standard there, and then if you want, you could do like spin-offs down the road.
I think they recasted Dash.
Oh yeah. But that's fine. Like no one really he doesn't have a recognizable voice.
I recognize that laugh when he's running on water was so I can't get that out of my head. Where he's like like that whole like chuckle.
So the next thing I want to talk about briefly before we watch the trailer is the animated stuff coming out from Marvel. So we did get
Benjamin says it's actually Frozone going out into the world being a hero in secret.
Oh my god. So we got some news about X-Men 97 season 2, and this is kind of interesting to me. I don't know if I like this news or not. Now, I know that Bo DeMeo commented about this on social media and said that this is part of the plan that he had for the season before he left the project. And it has to do with some of the costume designs, and it's going to be based on the Grant Morrison and Frank Quietly designs.
Oh,
okay.
Shit. I'm getting flashbacks of Dark Phoenix.
I trust Bo. They did a great job with season 1, but I hate this era of X-Men. Like the stories are good. I'm not a fan of Frank Quietly's art. I find it very creepy and not in a good way, like an unsettling way. I don't like this era. I don't like the suits. I know it has a lot to do with the E for Extinction. I get that, and Genosha and all that bullshit. I just don't like this era of the X-Men, and so it bothers me a little bit that we're going into like these more like New Mutants style uniforms. I thought we'd gotten away from that. I don't want to go back to that again. So
You
that's
think
my
that'd be
opinion
better-
about it.
Do you think that'll be better in the animation than in live action?
I certainly hope so.
I'm also wondering if it's not for our X-Men, but like the new kind of team of X-Men they seemingly are like creating in present day. Like they said, characters like Sabretooth and like Polaris are going to be like involved in this next season. So I'm wondering if they're doing like they're gone. We gotta have a team to like protect the Earth. Like someone needs to be the X-Men while they're gone, kind of thing.
So you mean like the fill-in team while our other characters are jumping through time?
Yeah. So
it's
like
possible.
maybe these are the suits they have, where our characters have their OG suits.
That's possible. I'm going to wait to give my final thoughts on all of this when we get more information. Right now, it's still sort of just kind of up in the air. I my only thing is I don't like this era of costume design. So for me, that's a miss. But it's not necessarily saying that the season is going to be bad.
Do you like the costume design of the brown and yellow suit? The reference is Wolverine. No,
I don't mind the Wolverine one because that one was a one-off suit when everybody else was not wearing the same thing.
But I was trying to confirm which era that was from.
That specific one I just showed, the Frank Quietly and Grant Morrison era.
Okay.
Those suits, because they look like the X-Men suits from the movies, from the first X-Men movie, and I didn't like those suits. But
they're too black for me.
Black and yellow, it's just black and yellow jackets with leather pants. It's not my thing.
I also noticed on the black suits that they had like their color scheme in the little lines on the suit, like it was like Wolverine had his yellowness on the seams of the line in the suit, which I thought was weird.
I'm just hoping what Darren's theory is correct, which is that it'll be the fill-in X-Men wearing the black and yellow, and that our OG because it doesn't make sense. They're going to be traveling through time, so when are they going to have time to put these suits on?
And speaking of Wolverine, who do you think would be cast as the new Logan?
Oh, we've already established I'm not good at fan casting because I don't really think about that, but I would like an unknown person or somebody not relatively big. I think casting big actors in roles for the most part is usually a cash grab, but I would love to see them do something a little bit different.
If you think about it,
really good.
If you think about it, Hugh Jackman wasn't well known until now.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely. I mean, I believe that was probably one of his big launching pads. I'd like to see Henry Cavill as Wolverine. How about that? Let's bring him back and let him play.
Let's bring him back.
What if? This is weird. What if season 3 is going to be the final season of What If? I was like, why? That's a show that could just go on infinitely. It doesn't really need to end.
I think they're probably going to end it with the multiverse saga. Like, I would imagine since they're not in the multiverse saga post this phase, they're like, well, just end it right there.
Yeah.
But I've also said the thing where, like, well, you could do, like, an anthology MCU show. It's like a animated series where you just kind of follow our characters. Maybe they don't have enough time for a movie or a show or whatever. Just give them an episode of TV or whatever.
Eyes of Wakanda is going to tie into the actual MCU I saw or I read.
What happened to that live action one? They just
I hate that they're changing it to
Delora Marge or whatever that's called.
Yeah, I think it's just being transferred into this animated show.
Oh, okay.
I believe. Another weird thing is they talked a little bit about Marvel Zombies. That's a property I could care less about. I really don't have any interest in Marvel Zombies. I'm not a big zombie person. But apparently people are really excited about it.
We loved Army of the Dead, so
yeah, obviously, yeah.
I just needed to come out already. Like we've been waiting so long, and like I love the cast. Like I think the only reason I'm really excited for that show is because you have some of those Phase 4 characters we've been wanting to see. Like
that's literally the only selling point for me.
Yeah. So that's exciting, but also you could just Avengers.
I guess you can be excited that it's only 4 episodes.
Yeah, that's a little weird too. Okay, last thing about the animation, then we'll watch this Mufasa trailer, is the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series. So they talked a little bit about the way they're going to do the origin story, and it's apparently going to be like a thing where they're fighting through a portal. I think they said it was
Strange and Venom were fighting.
Yeah, and that's how the spider bite is going to get Peter, and that's how he's going to get his powers. How do we feel about that? I mean, like I'm okay with some different take, but that's a little weird, right?
I think it's not our Peter, so I don't think it's Tom Holland Spider-Man. Like
No,
no. That's not what I'm saying. Like I'm just wondering if it's too complicated as an origin story to be a little weird. Or
I think it's unique. Like they're trying to do something that hasn't been seen before.
Yeah. I think like again, if this was our first take on Spider-Man, I'd be like, what are we doing here? But I think we're at a stage. There's been like 500 animated Spider-Man shows. They clearly want to separate it from the MCU. I don't know how I'll like it or how it'll work, but I'm also willing to see new takes on these characters.
Yeah,
like I'm
willing to give it a shot.
Yeah,
I'm not totally sold on it.
I want to see. Well, I think we since the MCU hasn't officially casted Ben Parker, I think we still have Ben Parker, but I want to see a universe that Ben Parker doesn't die.
Yeah.
Cody says, I think due to Agatha this year, zombies will be next year for like Halloween, maybe.
Yeah, that's still such a long wait at this point. I think
4 episodes, just drop it.
I know. Yeah, you could just drop it now. Like I was kind of thinking, like maybe they just announced they're dropping it right now. It's like, oh, here it's out on streaming, go watch it or whatever. But yeah,
what if that comes out for this Halloween? Just random.
No, they won't put it up against Agatha. I don't think. They don't like to have more than one IP competing with each other at the same time. So putting that out against Agatha would probably not happen, I would think. Yeah. So,
but don't they not make money off this?
I think they're worried that they would be splitting viewers by putting both of them out at the same time. Even though that may not be the case. Maybe they have some sort of analytics that tells them that's
like I would get it if it was like the theaters, but it's like streaming.
No, it's about like spreading it out. It's like how you buy groceries for the week, you don't eat it all in one day.
Yeah. They want to have that show out in a gap when there's nothing else keeping, because you're paying for that service. They don't want to put like everything out, like Paige was saying, in 1 month, and then you have 5 months with no shows. So they have to like.
Why would you stay subscribed? But if they do it, spread it out more, then even if there's a month of nothing, it's like, oh, can't be bothered. I'll just keep it. But if there's like 3 months of nothing, you don't subscribe.
Yeah. But even like this month, like this year, there's been really not that much like MCU stuff to come out. Like it's been X-Men and Echo. That's it. Like if it was done, I don't know if it's been done or not. If it was done, they could have just put it in like, I don't know, like what, October or what, like April or something. Just be like, oh, it's here, whatever. Watch it. After X-Men ended, there's a gap of nothing.
I actually think that part of the success, even though it would have been massively successful, part of the success of Deadpool and Wolverine is just the lack of Marvel stuff. People were ready for something.
Yeah, I agree.
So
one thing I have to give Marvel props for is creating a character for a deaf disabled person.
You're talking about
Echo. Echo, yeah.
I don't know when we're going to see Echo again, by the way, because I feel like that story.
I would assume never. But
yeah, I think Paige is right. I mean, we might not ever see that character again, except maybe
like definitely not in a main role. Like
so Daredevil, or one of the street level shows would be the most likely place to see her.
Also, you could see her in a Spider-Man project because it's street level too.
I don't think she'll be in a movie.
I think the only way she would be in Spider-Man if the theory that Daredevil, Echo, and Spider-Man were like this kind of 3-part story of like Kingpin trying to take out the like grounded heroes. Like I could see that, but also she shows up, everyone's seeing Spider-Man's gonna be like, who is this? I don't know who this character is, unfortunately.
I think Echo, for me, like Echo started out really strong and then it ended kind of weird. And I don't know if that has to do with the issue with the showrunner
like
stuff,
reminder
but
that there were like full theaters that watched Spider-Man No Way Home that when Matt Murdock appears had no idea who he was. Like Daredevil was a popular show, but it wasn't that popular, like in regards to where like there were people that just didn't know who the hell that was. It's like, okay, random guy.
Yeah, I also think though there is ways, to obviously incorporate the TV stuff into the movies. But if you look at the way it happened with like the Marvels, clearly the lack of marketing because of the strike, on top of people not knowing who those characters were, and not titling it Captain Marvel 2, which I think was a big problem. I think it should have been Captain Marvel 2: The Marvels,
especially like when,
that makes
in Australia. When you go to the movies, guess what the movies are titled? Like I don't know if it's like it in America, but it's always Marvel Studios movie, whatever the
Yeah,
movie
it is. It is. Yeah.
So for the Marvels, it was Marvel Studios, the Marvels. Like it sounds fucking stupid when you read it out like that.
I think that the idea of not giving $1 billion movie a proper sequel by titling it correctly is one of the biggest mistakes they made, because I truly believe the Marvels was advertised as a team up movie, and I think a lot of people didn't know 2 of the 3 characters in that team. And if they would have just simply made it seem like it was Captain Marvel with these other characters as part of the story, I think it would have done better in theaters. Because the people that saw it at home, most people say they like it. So it wasn't an issue of the overall quality of the film. I would say it is mid to really good. It is not mid to really bad.
Let's step it back a bit from the really good. I'd say mid to good.
I think it's really good. I think it's got a good story. Like there are parts I didn't like about it, but see, the problem is though that when we look at something in a way where it's like it couldn't possibly be really good to someone, because I don't think it was really good. I don't think that's the way you can look at media.
Well, that's true. Like some people love like Arrow season 4.
Like I love Napoleon Dynamite, and you hate it. So
no, I love Napoleon Dynamite.
What's funny is I've gone to where I have realized that there is a impossibility that you do not like any one scene, one element of a movie you hate. Like you can't dislike the entire thing. Even Fantastic Four.
Fuck me, Matt. Have you seen the Charlie's Angels reboot? That was so bad. I fell asleep. I've never fallen asleep in a movie ever. In the theater, I fell asleep.
I will say this:
I took my mom because
go ahead.
Growing up, loved the first 2 Charlie's Angels movies with like Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and stuff. Took my mom, was like, "Oh, this will be good. This will be fun." Kristen Stewart's in it. Like Kristen Stewart. I like the Aladdin chick. Fuck, it was boring. It was boring, not funny. Fell asleep about 40 minutes in.
You just proved my point. You liked one aspect of it. Kristen Stewart and that chick.
No, it actually made me dislike them though, because why did you agree to this fucking ass movie?
Oh my god! I haven't seen that movie, so I'm laughing as a passenger.
It's one of the movies I dislike the most in the world because it was so bad.
Wow.
No, because it was so bad and it was so boring. The most offensive thing you can do in a movie is be boring.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the most offensive thing you can do, especially when you're labeled as a comedy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming up on the 3-hour mark, so we need to watch this last trailer.
Actually, before you watch this last trailer, on Daredevil, do you think Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and your favorite character, Iron Fist, are going to be showing up?
I've heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, but that they're planning on bringing Iron Fist into Shang-Chi too, and that they're not going to use that character separately. But I don't.
No, it's like an other version, isn't it? Meant to be like an old.
No,
one.
Go ahead.
There's a version in that's Black Panther show that's going to be a past Iron Fist, meaning he's not Danny Rand.
So here's my thing. To make this short and sweet, because this could turn into a whole different discussion. I don't think it really makes any sense to bring Jessica Jones back, because the way her series ended, I think she was pretty much done with being a part of the superhero world. So if she came back in, it would be her being brought back against her. She doesn't want to be a superhero. So I don't know if she would come back. I mean, she's fine as a character. I like Jessica Jones in the series, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Luke Cage, 100%. I would love to see him come back. I think he makes the most sense out of everybody from the Netflix shows outside of Punisher to come back, because his storyline was not finished on his series, and that's why.
I will basically. I kind of can see Jessica Jones back because of a blip. Like she lost a bunch of people that she could have saved if she was involved. So I think that would have changed your perspective.
Do you truly understand Jessica Jones, the character?
I know she's basically she's
a very selfish character.
Yeah, selfish character. I know that. But what if her friend, the one that she likes, just dust in front
I'll tell you, here's the thing. If I could have, and I know I'm pretty sure all of you would have a wish list, but if I had a wish list for Daredevil season 4, whatever, it could be 4, Born Again, whatever it's called. I need Evanescence on the soundtrack. I just need that element to if we I know Elektra's not coming back, but I'd love another sandbag training sequence.
No, we don't need that.
We'd like the Daredevil suiting up and stuff like that. I really need Bring Me to Life to start playing, or the funeral scene with the other Evanescence song in there. Also, actually, I was going to it's something about 9/11, but I won't bother. So just keep going.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that. All right, let's watch this trailer. I haven't seen much of this one either, but this is a movie that a lot of people don't understand why they're making it. So anyway,
I understand money.
It's time. I'll tell you a story. A story of a cub, not much bigger than you.
So just to be clear, we're not in this story?
There's a lot of stories with all of us. Tell one of those.
Long before they became legends, Mufasa and the prince who would come to be known as Scar became brothers.
Hello, what's your name?
Mufasa. I told
British.
wait for me.
We can't just leave him here.
What'd you say?
I saw people blowing up about this, and I'm like, it's Scar's voiced by Jeremy Irons in the original one. Who's he voiced by in the
David Glover, I think.
No,
he was Simba.
Oh, Simba.
Who was the one in the live action one, the first one?
Wasn't it?
Because I was saying in the animation, he's British. Like, he's got a British actor.
Scar is... I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
Is it him? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
he's British, I think. Like, yeah, he's
Yeah,
British. Oh, yeah, he was Kinky Boots.
Oh, he was in Doctor Strange.
Yes. Yes.
Modo.
I was gonna try and correct you guys on his name because as I heard you saying it,
I was like, I'm not even gonna. I'm not.
All right.
He's Kinky Boots, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Look up Kinky Boots if you want to see Chiwetel Ejiofor in a.
Let's not do that. Let's just get through this Mufasa trailer. So.
Rules are rules, Tucker. The king will never accept a stray.
I'm not a stray. I'm just
lost.
What?
Yes.
Wait, so am I reading this right? Mufasa wasn't
in this continuity. He's adopted. Yeah.
So he's the bitch that kicked down the door.
Yes.
Yes.
And it makes sense why Scar hates him because he stole everything.
Yeah, but it also makes Mufasa look like a bit of a prick as well.
Absolutely.
Well, we don't know yet. We haven't seen the movie. We don't know what the process is.
I think Scar clearly does something fucked up.
Yeah, I was gonna say Scar might actually end up doing
Yeah.
something stupid. We don't know. There you go.
We do not associate with outsiders. Tucker is the future king. We must protect the bloodline.
But, Dad, I saved his life. I have a secret, Mufasa. I always wanted a brother.
So it's so weird trying to humanize Scar, to be honest. Like I don't
sorry.
know. Like,
that song sounds so ass.
Well,
I always wanted a brother.
Well, I mean, let's remember that Scar single-handedly scarred me as a human being by what he did to Mufasa. So I don't know if I.
It's cooked.
I don't know if I don't know if I can relate to him. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if I can relate to him as a character, knowing what he does in the future. So it's going to take a lot for them to convince me, to like him.
A bite on the nose, Defunct says.
Yeah.
I always wanted a brother.
Sometimes I get a scent. It's barely a trace on the wind. And it smells like home. And then it's gone.
You and Tucker together, that is home. Now both of you go. Find your place in the circle of life.
The circle is broken. There will be one Lion King.
Mufasa, run!
We must fight together.
I have to say, it doesn't look bad visually. I think it looks pretty good. I don't
It's
really
an
remember
improvement on the last one for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really remember liking the other one. But this already looks a little bit better to me. Maybe they weren't totally.
Well, you know why that
capable of
is?
doing it.
Because
Why?
the other one was just a shot-for-shot remake or attempted remake, and it's just like, go watch the animated thing. Well, this is its own
Completely
thing.
original story.
And I respect that for it. I think that I always want that sound a bit stupid, that song, but God. But at least it's its own thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well,
trying
you have to
like
remember, Paige, it's still a kid's thing. Like they're gonna sing "I've Always Wanted a Brother." I feel like that's
It's also just like a 2-second snippet of the actual.
Yeah.
Like I bet it'll sound better when you the full song. But
yeah. There might be like beatboxing or something, like lines.
I mean, Paige, have you ever listened to the lyrics of Disney songs in the past? They're not necessarily the most deep songs in the world.
Do you get the reference to "I Always Wanted a Brother"? By the way, it's from another Disney movie called Brother Bear.
Oh no, I didn't
where
realize that.
Coda actually says, "I always wanted a brother," while he's snuggling up Dakota.
Oh, interesting.
Kenine.
If we fight, we die. Just to be clear, I never signed up for this.
I'm here to protect you, my brother.
Mufasa! This was a
How the heck?
Oh God!
How the heck did he survive that? But a freaking fall from a rock kills him.
Because I think they're falling into water. I think they're falling into a pool of water.
Waterfall.
Wow. I just thought it was like
I think rock is a little bit harder than water, but I could
and
be
also
wrong
you had
there,
all the
too.
you had the
cats land on
under
their
him
feet.
as well. Yeah, like you had the 1,000 animals trampling him.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the main thing that killed him.
I did it! I saved us!
You were saying?
So since it's a prequel, I'm going to say this right now.
I think it's a sequel prequel.
Well, it is sort of because of the way they started
it's
off.
definitely not a sequel because spoiler alert, Mufasa died.
No,
He's saying in the beginning they're telling the story like it's him.
They're telling it to Kiara.
Okay,
but a part of the sequel.
It is going to be super traumatic. So, say for example, you're a parent, you're taking your kid to this movie. This is their first Lion King movie, right? They haven't seen the other one. This is the first one they're going to see, and they're watching this, and they're like, "Scar is so cool. He's such a good brother to Mufasa." And then you show them the second or the first movie, the second movie they see, and they're like, "Scar kills." Awesome. Like,
Son of a bitch.
how the fuck do we get there from here is what I want to know, because that feels to me like a massive problem when it comes to like trust.
I always think that when I think it's a weird concept to teach your kids about death at a young age to begin with.
It's very difficult, but in this one, it's very confusing because they're going to become attached to this character, and then spoiler alert, he murders Mufasa.
Yeah,
I would do the reverse, and I would watch the Lion. I would basically have my kid watch the Lion King anime first.
And then they watch this one, and they're like, "Oh, look, Scar's not a bad guy. Look, he's misunderstood."
I think I do think we're going to see the hints of the like hatred and Scar very early on, and I think, I actually personally really like the like decision to make them not blood brothers, because I think that adds a very interesting element.
It does.
That like
true. Yeah.
Like this, I was king. I was born to be king, and this guy I brought him into my family, and then he took my spot. Like, how does that transpire? Like, again, I think he had to have messed up in a huge way that put Mufasa on the throne. So,
and if you think, and realistically, there's a bunch of male lions that don't become the king, because even though they there's a whole like pack of them. Like they didn't just have one kid.
Yeah,
they usually have six. They usually have six. They usually have 6 cubs, unless 4 of them or 5 of them died.
I also think it's funny that like in this trailer at least they show Scar feels like the like protagonist of the movie.
Yes,
like, he feels like the main character, and then
and
the
like
movie's
Paige
called
said, like,
Mufasa,
right.
and it's funny because it's kind of a meta thing because he took the title too. Like this is Scar's movie, and he took that too.
And
So I
like
think
Paige said,
funny.
he comes in and kicks down the door. Like what the fuck is going on with this movie? So yeah, I
like
don't know.
regardless, the movie will make quite a lot of money. I don't know if it'll make as much because like you got to remember like the OG one still has all those songs. Like so, I guess I'm assuming this movie will probably have Circle of Life, and then I just have a feeling it'll probably have at the beginning.
It'll be a remix of Circle of Life, probably, or the
and then it's all original music, which I'm excited for.
What's
I always
funny?
wanted a brother.
What's funny is I think it's a prequel to Simba 2, but also a
Simba 2.
Yeah, it's because it happened before she's before.
Do you mean 2 as in like T-double-O?
I was like, the movie's not called Simba 3 though. I was confused. I'm sorry.
Simba's Pride. It's a sequel to Simba's. It's a prequel to Simba's Pride.
Wait, hold on. Back it up for a second. Sorry, but I just looked through. Pharrell Williams is making the music for this movie.
I'm not surprised. He did the Minion stuff, so
yeah. So Pharrell Williams is doing.
He's done a lot of stuff. Yeah, and then also he did.
Do you think we're gonna get?
What's the other one he did? The Happy song that came from a movie too, right?
That was Despicable Me as well, wasn't it? Aren't they all Despicable Me songs?
Was it Despicable Me? Happy, clap your hands. Is
that Trolls?
Cause I'm happy.
No, that was Justin Timberlake. Maybe they. Oh no, he did it with Pharrell.
Yes, Justin Timberlake did do a song for Trolls.
Yeah, but Pharrell does the Happy song, which is from Despicable Me. Is it Lego?
Dance.
That's the Troll one, but that's Justin Timberlake saying, but Pharrell produced it.
Was it Lego? No, it wasn't Lego.
No, it wasn't.
I don't remember. All I know is Pharrell has done music for children's.
But do you think we're going to get Pharrell Williams music, or do you think Nerd might pop in?
I don't think that
it is Nerd. Despicable Me 2. Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna do that.
Just get a line cursing.
So I was trying to say before music was involved. It's a prequel to Simba's Pride, but also a sequel to Lion King, but also a prequel to Lion King.
We'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen.
Because
overall, go ahead, 3Dub.
Simba's Pride, Kiara grows up. Like it has to be a prequel to that because the whole story of Simba's Pride is a young Kiara saving the other lions and stuff and Kovu and stuff like that. But but she's still a kid in this one, so it has to be a prequel to Simba's Pride, but also a sequel to Lion King, but also a prequel to Lion King, because it's about Mufasa.
That's really. I think we're just going to go with this a prequel to Lion King because I feel like that's probably the easiest thing to say. Overall, even with my issues with some of the projects coming out, I think this was a very successful D23.
I agree.
I think like the announcements about Daredevil alone and some of the other animated projects seem to be really solid. I think Incredibles 3 got people really excited. There seems to be a lot of things that came out of D23 that are really positives for Disney and all their properties.
Honestly, I think RDJ should have had D23 announcement. Like he should have been like Dr. Doom in D23. That would have been like, can you imagine the talking if it came out in D23?
Oh my goodness. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for being here. We're at the 3-hour mark. I knew it was going to be a lot, but that took us a while to get through everything. So thank you, Darren, for hanging out. When is your next live stream so people can come and see you?
This Thursday, the Pipeline's having their 100th episode. So anyone that wants to go check that out will be this Thursday at 5:00.
Any surprises planned for your stream?
I got some cool guests kind of popping in. Taz is coming back for the first time in like a year. So that's fun.
Wow.
So.
That's crazy. I feel like it's been forever. The smooth microphone sounds of Taz.
I know.
So, 3Dub, you're going to be on Party Nation tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow
or today?
No, it's Lance is having
he's slacking again.
orientation with his kids for new.
Just do it.
Year.
Stream on his channel without him. You can do it. You got.
I can, but I mean, I'm not. I'm a more of a sidekick, not a front.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, what you should do is you should put on the videos where it's like videos for cats, where it's like birds chirping and stuff.
No, the funniest thing you could do is just go on to Lance's channel and just stream a movie so he gets claimed.
And stream music videos, play like a playlist of Ellie
videos, or like honestly, just straight up porn. Like just go all the way. And see how far you can go.
A funny story is
I don't want to hear it. No, I don't want to hear your porn
story. Can we stream until we get?
We are already veering.
Oh no,
okay.
Eric, you actually do a challenge with that. Play a XXX rated movie on Lance's channel and see if he lasts longer with that playing than you did with Hallelujah watching the Snyder Cut trailer. Because you were gone after about 15 seconds with that. I honestly reckon Lance would last longer. Honestly, and you'd have to skip the foreplay. You just get straight into it. So
seriously, funny thing happened was I actually pranked Lance with the stream where I would actually have me like off camera, but have a 6 hour of someone snoring on stream, just playing, and he didn't think the wiser. He thought it was me.
Oh my god!
And I was sitting there watching the stream, backed up, and was just like, and then they pulled me up every now and then. He goes, "Yep, he's still snoring."
Well, with that being said, go check out Paige's channel. What was the last video you put out? It was something about like
OnlyFans. Yeah.
No. You put out something about the Arrowverse. I saw.
I can't remember what it was.
Wasn't it a
you can't remember
video or something?
Yes, that's what it was.
Something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah. Go check that out. Check out Ben's takes over at the DC TV show. Go see what he's doing over there.
If someone has a time machine, feel free to go back to that X Factor audition, because unfortunately I don't have access to said time machine, because I'd love to see that video. Or if someone can hack or something like that.
Shout out to all the people in the chat. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I will be live tomorrow on just strictly the Debunks channel. I've got a bunch of content for that.
Another woke video.
A woke video. So look for me over there if you're not following me. And 3Dub, thank you for letting me know about the link issue, because I have to fix that still. Anyway,
I don't know if bullying Ben into something that would make me bully him even more would. I don't know if the logic's there, but then again, it's Ben, so he might fall. He might. To be honest, remember he fell when I did the Callum's Corner thing. I told him that it was the guy, the bold. Like, was it? Is it this dude? Do I have it? Oh, I don't have it anymore. He sort of looks like that, but I said, "Oh, it's a YouTuber," but I went to Ben. Oh, this guy got cast in Supergirl season 5 or something like that in the main role, and I gave him this fake plot synopsis. He did a video on it.
And he made a video.
He did a video on it. It was up for like 2 hours, and then someone commented, "This is a YouTuber," so Ben had to delete the video.
That's right. He made a video.
So it was like cast as like the new main alien in the bar or something like that.
Oh my god.
Classic
Anyway,
Ben.
we'll see everyone later.